This very special extrasode was executive produced by the Boodle Horse. Thank you, Boodle Horse, for your incredible taste in podcasts about movies, nostalgia, and tangents. And hold on just a second. The name of the movie the Boodle Horse picked will be revealed.
After the theme song.
After the theme song.
Yes. Also, don't look at your phone.
Totes Recall.
Welcome to Totes Recall, the podcast where we talk about a movie we can't remember very well, push pause on the recording, watch the movie while eating 2 pizzas and 2 salads. Thank you, patrons. Come back, record a second half of the show where we talk again about the movie we just watched and just discussed. And now we know a thing or two about it. How does it hold up in this day and age? What did we get right and wrong? My name is Dan.
This is Molly.
I'm also Dan.
And I'm Beth.
And our movie this very special extrasode is Never Been Kissed, right?
Wow, yes,
Yeah.
with Drew
Yes,
Barrymore.
correct.
Okay, big reveal.
Spoiler alert.
I recognize this title as the title of a movie, and that is where my knowledge ends.
Really?
Yes.
Let me jump in and tell you where my knowledge ends.
Okay.
My knowledge begins in the same place as Dan, where I know this is a movie and it's named Never Been Kissed. However, I also knew before Molly spoiled it that Drew Barrymore's in it. And I know that it has something to do with high school.
Okay.
And I confidently know I have never seen it.
Wow.
I, on the other hand, at one point in time would have called this my favorite movie.
Oh,
Yes.
damn. What a
Yes.
special.
Wow.
But now I'm very scared because I know what it's about, and as an adult, I am like, ooh.
You have concerns.
Yes, I have concerns.
Exciting. That makes me very excited.
I am unsure whether I've seen this or not. This came along at a time when I was a little bit less into this genre of movie. I don't think at least I never outgrow the young adult fiction style romance, especially anything taking place in a high school. I cannot help myself. And I think I've seen part of this. I have a very distinct memory of Drew Barrymore getting the... Can I give anything away? I mean, I can, right? That's the whole purpose of the first half.
I mean, do you want Dan and I to do a Union Strong pre-call before you give anything away?
That sounds great.
That
Let's
seems
do
like
it
a good
that way.
idea.
Yeah. Oh,
Seems
should
like
I
Beth
time
should
it?
time-
No, it seems like Beth should probably time it. This is her favorite movie after all. I want her to have a good experience.
Let's take that away
I'm
from
on it.
her.
Okay, so the Dans are going to pre-call Never Been Kissed, starting
Yes.
now.
Drew Barrymore's in it.
We open on Los Angeles County, USA.
Oh, yeah, the sun is shining. There's
Drew
a
Barrymore is
girl.
a teen.
She's awkward, and no one wants to
So
kiss her.
awkward. Oh, she's got a head
glasses,
gear.
probably.
Her hair's all weird.
bet
She
her-
smells real bad.
Dress doesn't match her shoes. Maybe her socks are different, too.
Another girl is mean to her and makes her like drop her books in a puddle.
30 seconds.
Yeah. Is this the movie where she walks up a staircase and drops all her stuff before she goes into school and everybody looks at her? That
Maybe.
happens.
Cut to 30 years later. Drew
Oh, shit.
Barrymore is an adult, because if I'm remembering when this movie takes place in terms of our chronology and Drew Barrymore's life.
And now she's
10
trying to
seconds.
get kissed. And
She's trying to
everybody-
get kissed.
She wants everybody to kiss her because she's never been kissed.
She's trying to figure out why no one kissed her in high school.
Holds a
it's for
kissing
science.
booth
Time.
competition.
Wow. You spent like most of that just describing the opening of the movie.
I mean, that's pretty standard, I feel like.
Yeah. So there's
Yeah.
a time jump? We think there's a
I
time
think
jump?
so.
30 years?
I don't know.
You think she comes back to high school as a 45-year-old?
No, I don't know.
There's nothing wrong with being 45 or close to it.
I don't know if she's back. Like, I don't know if I just know that it involves her and high school. I don't know if is she in high school? Is she
Is there
attending
something
high
like
school?
going back and like trying to
Yes.
pretend she's not?
Yes,
who she
as the
is?
person with the third most information, I'll jump in here with some of my bets, if that's okay.
Okay,
Sure.
She is a journalist. She is in her
Oh.
20s
Okay.
Oh.
or maybe early 30s, but not much older than that.
She's probably like
And she's-
29, the ancient.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she is gets an assignment to figure out what's going on in high school. Something, I don't know what.
Yep.
Some
Like-
trend or whatever.
Like
people
21
like
Jump Street?
Smoking banana leaves or whatever.
She's what?
Wasn't that a thing where people like grinding up banana peels and like smoking them?
Not where I lived.
Maybe
I
in
don't
the
know.
sunny Californian shores.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's more like a feature piece, something light.
Oh.
I think it's not like 21 Jump Street where she's
In
there
Georgia,
to,
they're
like,
going to smoke
bust-
peach pits or whatever. Come on.
Yeah.
I cannot sigh strongly enough at the peach pit.
You're saying they would probably be eating bananas more than peaches in Georgia?
I don't endorse any of this. I feel like high schoolers are pretty good at getting real drugs. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow.
Hey, teens.
I'm
At
not
least all the high
talking about-
schoolers I knew, but
I'm
cool
not
at
talking
teens
about
don't
getting
do it.
real drugs. I'm talking about teens who are lazy.
No, there is nothing lazy about drying up and burning like fruit peels.
You literally
that takes
just
effort.
No, it doesn't. You take
can
the garbage.
Literally get
you
your
leave the
brother
garbage.
to text someone.
What if you don't have? What if you're an only child?
Wait outside of
Teens,
the 7-Eleven.
don't listen to Molly's directions.
Yeah, don't
Boy,
listen
Molly's
to Molly's like awful,
Fill you in on how to get
awful
drugs.
behavior.
Also,
Molly?
it's legal.
Cool it.
Yeah, Molly, Jesus.
All I've gotten as far as is saying that Drew Barrymore is a journalist and went to high school
Okay.
before I got boodle forced into some
Nice.
like real tangents really early on. We were trying to just lay down the facts of this movie.
So is
Doobie
she doing
horse.
like a?
Is that
Oh
something?
hell yeah!
Why was that an invitation to interrupt? She's she gets
Is
this
this-
assignment.
So it's like a.
You stop, also, Dan.
I'm
You
having.
hush.
I have a question. I'm asking
don't-
a question.
How are you having a question when I have said nothing?
So you haven't said anything yet. We got so many questions, no answers. Fill us in.
Molly, just answer the question.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what is the question?
Doobie
is she
horse,
doing-
is that something?
That was not my question. I do not endorse this question, although I appreciate Doobie
Dude.
Horse.
Doodle Dorset.
What?
Doodle Dorse.
Oh,
Yes.
go ahead, Molly.
Pretty good.
Go ahead, Molly.
Are you serious right now? You don't even have a question, also, Dan?
Well, Dan ruined it. My question is:
Oh,
is she
excellent.
doing like a reverse? Don't tell mom the babysitter's dead, where she is like a fully functioning adult woman, and now she has to convince the world that she is a teen.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that here's
Oh.
the pivotal thing that I remember about this. She is so excited when she gets the assignment because she's like, "Oh man, going back to do high school this time, I'll have confidence. I'll be
do-over.
awesome. I'll get to do a do-over and I'll be cool."
But
Got
she's a
it.
full adult.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, she's an
Okay.
adult.
Okay. This
But-
is why you're worried, Beth?
Yes.
We haven't. Damn it, Dan.
Everybody, shut up, especially Beth, so Molly can get this out.
How dare you?
She's so excited to go and be the person she thinks she's going to be, but instead she is even dorkier than she was in actual high school.
Oh no!
And that
well,
is
that
very
makes
painful
sense.
to her. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's real.
Mhm.
Teens are terrifying.
Savage.
I just watched something. What did I watch? Oh, I watched that Jennifer Lawrence movie where she fights naked.
What?
What?
Respect.
I don't.
What are you talking about?
No Hard Feelings. That's what it's called.
Does she pretend to be a teen too?
Sort of. Her, some rich teens never been kissed, and
Okay.
his parents want him to have sex before he goes to college, so they hire Jennifer Lawrence, who's kind of like a burnout 20-something in a resort town.
Okay.
Anyway, she goes to a teen party, and they all are just like filming her all the time and like putting her on social media. This is a new movie.
Uh-huh.
And it's terrifying. It's like a weirdly terrifying in a teen way of like you can't, they're just like so confident. And
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a different movie, but she fights naked. It's her Eastern Promise. And
are there like assassins?
some people try and steal her clothes and she just like fucks them up.
Oh, okay. It's not like she was like someone was coming to murder her and she happened to be nude.
They were skinny dipping.
Oh, I see. And now she's like, no.
Don't steal my
Nobody
clothes,
gets
you pranksters.
past.
I'll
Yeah,
fuck
got
you
it.
up.
Okay.
She punches
Okay,
him, like
got it.
suplexes a guy while nude.
Awesome.
Yeah, it's
This is not that movie.
This is not that movie. Is there a nude fight scene in this movie?
I don't
think so.
Okay.
Flaccid Dawn?
No,
I don't
I think
So-
young Beth would have liked that movie.
That's true. This is your favorite movie.
My inference from the title is that maybe there is some kissing while she's pretending to be a high school student.
Oh, no.
Is she like falling in love with a teacher? But
Are there
the teacher
consent
thinks she's a
issues
student?
that we have to navigate?
Oh, if only Beth could talk.
Well, you've been talking over
Everybody
this whole
told me
time.
to
You've been
shut up,
talking over her
so-
the whole time.
Yeah,
you
you kept
told
saying,
Beth
"Shut
to
up,
shut
Beth."
up.
I didn't say shut up, Beth. I said shut up, Dan.
You
Check the
literally
tapes.
just said so. Shut up.
Shut up.
Yep.
Beth.
I just heard someone from Hotlanta tell Beth to shut up.
Okay, so I believe her character's name is Josie.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I think they call her Grossy Josie when she's in high
Oh,
school. She's
damn.
not a very
Brutal.
cool teen. But yes, she's a journalist. She gets assigned to work at the high school to cover what teens are up to nowadays. It's like an undercover story. She shows up, I believe, wearing a Dan is now raising his hand because he has respect for me.
I just don't want to get yelled at again.
Yes, Dan.
Do we know like what sort of publication she works for? Like, is this a newspaper or is it like it's just like a magazine? It's like a profile of teen life.
I think it is a newspaper.
Okay.
It seems like she's a pretty like important journalist, and
Got
I
it.
agree with Molly that like she's like I'm gonna have confidence. She has this outfit picked out. It's like white and fluffy. There's like feathers on it, and everybody makes
Nice.
fun of her on the first day.
Oof.
It's brutal.
But
Savage.
guess who doesn't make fun of her and thinks she's kind of interesting? One of her teachers, who also doesn't know that she's undercover.
Yeah.
And one of her things too is she has never been kissed. She's
Okay.
never
Oh,
had
wow.
a kiss, and she's probably in her 20s.
Mhm.
And so, young Beth related to that hard.
Sure.
Yep.
And so I did think it was romantic when I was younger, and I didn't really
Of
think
course.
of it being as a problem because I knew she was an adult.
Right. Right.
But now I'm like, but he doesn't know she's not, you know.
Uh-huh.
And that's where I think there might be some problems.
I see. Where we'll be like, dude,
Yeah.
cool it.
There's probably a scene where the tension is building, and then decent teacher is like, no, you're my student. She's like, actually, big reveal, I'm old and a journalist. And then they bang in school.
What?
As I recall, somehow everybody finds out that she's actually a journalist and not a teacher or not a student at all, and he's upset with her.
Sure.
It's
Because
upsetting.
he keeps telling her about
Yes.
how much I think he might be the journalism teacher or like an English teacher, and he keeps telling her how much promise she has with writing and things like that.
Sure. Wait, how long is she in school?
I think it's like a school year kind of thing.
A whole year?
I don't know. I don't remember that well. But I do remember that they kiss on a baseball field. That's her first kiss,
Okay.
and she kisses in front of everybody. He might be
Oh.
maybe he's one of the coaches also or something.
Sure.
You know how high school or teachers do both. Students and teachers are now the same in my head. That's how much
Yeah.
this
No.
movie
Wow.
messed me up.
Oh, no.
And I bet Drew Barrymore is so charming. She probably gets the
So charming.
whole school on her side by the end, and the bullies are like, actually, we like you even though you're old, and we hope that you do kiss our teacher. And then they applaud after they kiss.
Maybe that seems right. I think
Yeah.
she befriends kind of the nerds in school.
Nice.
Okay.
And
Oh,
then she
yes.
helps them get more confidence.
and they get
Oh.
kissed as well.
Does everyone get kissed by the
Is
end?
it like a
Everyone at the
huge
end
kissing?
is kissing.
Yeah.
So yeah, look forward to that. There's a huge kissing scene.
How good's the kissing? Is this like late?
Ooh,
this feels like
yeah.
late 90s to me. I want to say 97. We didn't talk about
98.
I don't remember. In my head, I mean, I remember having a kind of a crush on this teacher, so it's probably pretty good.
Yeah.
Do we think we will recognize teacher actor? Or is he just some like rando?
Maybe.
All I can picture is Paul Rudd. I know that's not right, but that's what I
I'll
picture.
say Benjamin Bratt.
I think
Nice.
he's got kind of like sandy blonde hair.
Okay.
I
Do
don't.
you think he's a
I feel
Paul Rudd
like-
type, Molly? Like that's how they
No,
cast
I
it?
guess- I'm not sure. My memory is Drew Barrymore is like really carries the whole movie. Like I don't remember there being another named actor
Oh.
in it, if
Okay.
that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
And I kind of wonder, like, anyway, I'm not sure. And I feel like this also came out around the time that, like, Ever After.
What's
Yes.
Yeah.
I also really loved that movie.
that?
I also have not seen
have
that
not heard
movie.
of that.
But know
Is
about
it
it
a
as a
fairy
movie.
tale?
It's Drew Barrymore maybe doing Cinderella or something like Cinderella.
It's like a variation. Yeah.
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 I was a big fan of Drew Barrymore at this point in time. I
Yeah.
think
How could
I
you
think
not
shortly
be?
after she made Charlie's Angels, or
That
around
sounds
that
right.
time.
The
yeah.
timeline, yeah,
Yeah.
the timeline checks
Was-
out.
Charlie's Angels early 2000s, though?
Yeah,
I
that
think
feels
so.
like-
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering if this movie is like, I don't know, like a 2002 or something.
Oh, wow.
Is it that late?
I don't know.
Could
I want to
be.
say
I mean, go
even-
for it. Make the bet,
Eh.
Molly.
Not yet. I'm going to see what Beth says.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I feel like, yeah. I mean, that might be right. I was probably like 10 or 11 when it came out. 99.
I'll go straight 2000.
Nice.
How much is this movie Miscongeniality?
Not at all.
Whoa.
Not at all.
They're both going undercover and are awkward, right? And Benjamin Bratt.
Oh,
Okay, I don't think
First-
that Benjamin Bratt is in it,
Benjamin
but
Bratt's
maybe
pretty
he's
nice.
another teacher or something.
Yeah. But isn't
Like-
it, that's undercover and awkward, right? I'm right.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Okay, so a little
Yeah,
bit.
just write down Dan is right. And
Okay,
then you've
yeah.
got it covered.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Yes, Dan.
I want to lay down a bet, and bet is that we won't recognize any of the adult actors in the school, but we will recognize whoever she works for at the publication, and I'm going to bet we recognize at least one teen who has gone on to continue to act in films.
Yeah, is this the one that has the woman in it? Okay, is this a name? Lily Sobieski?
Yeah, that's
is a name.
Is that
I
somebody?
don't remember who that is, but it is a name.
Okay, I remember. Okay, I think this is her, and she looks
Okay.
a lot like Helen Hunt. Is that the same actress?
Oh, is she a teen or a non-teen?
She's a teen. I think she's the nerdy teen that
Nice.
Drew Barrymore befriends in the movie.
Oh,
Yeah, that seems right.
okay.
I'm writing down Lily Sobieski.
Cool.
Nice.
Any cowboys in this? Cowboy clicks?
Oh my God, I hope
please,
so.
God.
Hoping.
Please, God.
There's
Just
got to be
once.
a cafeteria scene, right? There's got to
For
be like
sure
a
there's a
where am I going
cafeteria
to sit in the
scene.
cafeteria and
Yes.
the clicks.
Mm-hmm.
I hope there's a cowboy click.
It's got to be
How-
school dance.
Ooh, yeah.
Molly's bet school dance.
Yeah.
How many times do we think Drew Barrymore will fall over so we know she's awkward?
Oh, that's
Oh,
a great one.
Three
Most of the
times.
movie.
7?
Most of the movie.
I think she's mid-fall throughout the entire film.
She's like never fully stable.
Never been
Even when she
standing.
is stable, she's fallen in love. Am I right?
Ayo.
Oh.
Okay.
Honestly, I
High
would
five.
love there to be a movie like that with the awkward romantic lead woman who's always falling over, where like someone actually makes a comment of just like, maybe you should get new shoes. Like,
That seems like a early 2000s rom-com where someone has vertigo and like they just keep falling
Sure.
over.
Yeah.
And it's like, haha, that's funny. And I'm like,
I mean,
actually, that's like a real
isn't
problem for people.
doesn't Drew Barrymore have a rom com where she's like has like severe neurological issues and like
Yes.
that's the whole
50
premise?
First dates.
Yeah.
50 First dates.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. An awkward title. Is
Here's
it
what I'm learning
50
about Drew
First Dates?
Barrymore's career. I have not seen a lot of the movies she's in, but I'm aware of them.
Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
that makes sense. That checks out.
Now she's
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
talk show.
Yep.
Yes.
Is that true?
She does have a talk
That is
show.
true.
She did
Think people like it.
almost fuck up when it came to the strikes, but then she got shamed into not fucking up.
Mm.
So good job, ish.
Yeah. Hey, course correction is better
Course
than
correction
none.
is better
Yeah.
than
That's
not.
true.
And
Yeah.
she course corrected
Everyone-
like in a
Makes mistakes. That's what you do.
and she
after.
course corrected in a much less shitty way than Bill Maher did, which is not hard
Yeah.
to do anything less shitty than Bill Maher. But still, kudos where kudos is deserved.
Yep.
But also, just support your unions, you fucking assholes.
Yeah.
I ate a lot of kudos in high school. Speaking of high school.
Did you? I could never get into them.
Really? It's like a granola bar, but more chocolate.
Oh, those kudos. I was thinking of the combos. Yeah, combos I couldn't
No.
get into.
Combos
Oh,
with
I-
dog treats.
I ate combos if I was driving for more than half an hour anywhere, but that's it. It's a road trip food.
Oh.
Yeah, I can see that. I
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
support that.
I get a craving for score bars when on a road trip.
Score bars?
I love
Uh-huh.
Score.
What's a
It's
score bar?
It's a piece of toffee dipped in chocolate.
It's like a Heath
Ooh,
bar.
I like that.
It's like a
Oh,
Heath
okay.
bar, but it's less like, I don't know, it's like a smoother, harder candy in the middle. Oh, it's just
Okay.
there's something about it.
It's real
I've
good.
never had a score bar.
How is it spelled?
I think SKOR.
Yep.
Okay.
That's also a good
But-
crossword word.
Ooh, yeah. But also pay us,
Yeah.
candy
Yeah.
manufacturer.
Yeah.
candy?
Candy.
Beth, can you go back and just replace that with candy?
Candy.
How is it spelled? Candy.
Do we think this passes the Bechdel-Wallace test?
It's
Oh
got
my
to,
God.
right?
I
Too, right? She's got to have
hope
some
so.
teen friends, and they got to talk about something other than wanting to kiss boys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like
I don't know
Well-
if I talked about much different.
But there has to be, if nothing else, I feel like at worst, there has to be another girl who's mean to her
Yep.
who is talking about her.
Yeah.
You know what I
Surely she
mean?
talks to a teacher or the principal or someone. I'm going to say it passes.
Yeah.
I'm going to also
So
say
wait.
pass.
Somebody at the school has to know who she is, right?
I think the principal.
Oh, okay.
And at
is-
no point is she like, oh, I should really make sure that the teachers know that this is an adult woman. It's like-
No, I
Well,
think
it
that's
shouldn't-
part of it.
It shouldn't come up, though,
Okay.
right? I mean, you
I
shouldn't
mean,
be...
but like if she sees like her talking to this adult man a lot, she might be like, ooh, I should maybe pull him into the office for a minute.
At least talk to him about like, hey, stop flirting with your students.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll just have to see. I'm curious.
Me
See how it
too.
holds up.
How should we rate this movie, Molly?
Let's rate it by Real Kissin' with Drew Barrymore.
Is this her new show?
Yes.
Real Kissing with Drew Barrymore. Is it like a
Yep.
game show?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
And people go on and have to real kiss, and they get graded on how well they real kiss.
I mean, yeah, that description sounds accurate.
Yeah.
What is
Yeah.
real kissing? As opposed to what?
As opposed to like Hollywood kissing,
Yeah, fake
Oh, I
kissing.
see.
fake kissing. It's real kissing.
I
Like
see.
where you turn your body around and you put your hand over the other person's mouth and kiss the hand.
Yeah.
That's fake.
That's
kissing.
real kissing, or
That's
that's
fake
That's
kissing.
fake kissing.
Oh.
It's the
okay.
opposite of real kissing.
Actually, and I'm sorry, I need to tweak this. You almost nailed it. It was 100%, almost 100% Utah.
Wow.
In this show, it's like you don't do real kissing, but you make it look like real kissing.
Oh, it's like, is it cake but for
Okay.
kissing?
Yes,
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
Exactly.
So is it?
And
is
so
it
no one is actually-
REEL kissing?
Oh, like real? Yes,
Like
it is. Thank
moving,
you.
Like a movie? Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh.
thank you so much for clarifying that. I should have brought that up at the beginning. Yes, it's
Of course.
real kissing with 2 E's.
So people are submitting short films of them kissing.
No, it's no. Yes, sure, but they're live in the audience and they get
They
interviewed.
said no. I think what it is, Dan, is
What's
like
the real about?
hold on.
R-E-E-L.
What they do is they
3
Yeah.
E's?
yes
Yes, that's how you know. It's 3
they
times.
put them in like movie scenarios. Like there's
Yes.
full sets,
Oh,
full
okay.
costumes.
Full costumes.
It's like So You Think You Can Dance.
in
Yeah.
famous kiss scenes from movies.
Yes.
But
and
it's
they have to
normies.
recreate it. But
Batman,
it's normies.
Forever.
And you
Yeah.
can't actually kiss. So you
Yes.
gotta
Okay,
Yeah.
and you have to make it look like a real kiss when it's not a kiss.
exactly.
Okay,
Exactly.
Yeah,
Got it.
no, it sounds like a great.
So you
show.
got to be aware of
Drew
like the
Barrymore's
camera, the camera angles,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
You got to be aware of like any sight lines of like your own wardrobe that could help
It's
you.
probably
Like
a
if you're wearing a
big-
big
Yes.
hat,
Yeah, buzzer that goes off if you actually real kiss.
if
Yeah,
you real
and, like,
kiss,
You're disqualified.
You deduct points if you use your hands on the other person's face.
Wow.
Yeah.
and
There's
if you
certain-
real kiss, Drew
Oh.
Barrymore comes up and physically separates you
Yeah.
and slaps you in the
And
face.
she says,
Wow.
I just drew the line.
Whoa! And then the whole
Yeah.
crowd goes fucking nuts,
Yes.
Yeah.
and it goes
Oh,
like bam, bam, bam,
man.
bam, bam, and then confetti shoots out.
confetti, but yes,
Yeah.
confetti.
And then
Okay.
her assistants Barry and another Barry come out, and she's like, "Get Barry more out here," and they separate them.
Barrymore.
Barrymore.
So there's
It's one of her
Two
assistants.
Barrys. Yeah, there's two Barry assistants. They're both named Barry.
One's
So
Barry
there's
less.
more
and one's
Barry.
Barry more.
One's Barry
Oh,
Moore. Yeah.
wow.
one's Barry less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
His-
that's
Well, it's
Dad.
Barry less Stevens, but just goes for less because that was funny
Yeah.
because his
Oh.
coworker was more. So
Yeah.
his name is Barry, and then his middle name is Les
well, it's Barry Lester
Stevens.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes, as I recall, because this is real.
Yes,
and
of course.
he yeah, but they always thought it'd be fun to like instead of calling him like Barry Lester, they would call him Barry Less because his best friend is
That
Barry
is
Moore.
fun.
Yeah,
That is
yeah.
fun.
And then they
With
get
an E.
jobs.
So Barry, the way that I'm just trying to make sure I understand how this works on the show.
Yeah.
So Barry Les comes out first every time,
Yes.
and then Drew is like, "Get Barry Moore out here."
yeah.
Yes, I'm
Everybody goes
drawing-
nuts.
I drew the line. Get
Yeah.
Barry Moore out here. And the two
Everybody
Barrys
gets
are
screwed.
falling in love over the course of the season. We see them.
Oh, and you're like, when are they gonna kiss?
yeah.
Yeah.
And they're on the series finale, I think.
And
Yeah.
so at the series finale, they do actually finally kiss, and Drew Barrymore goes up like she's gonna separate them and
Yep,
slap them,
yep.
but instead she gives them hugs and confetti cannons.
And then she's
Wow.
like, "I'm ordained," and then she weds them right on the
Yes.
spot.
That's
Exactly.
amazing.
Exactly.
So, Hollywood.
Real kissing.
That's
Real
the rating
kissing.
scale. We spent exactly the right amount of time describing it,
Absolutely,
as we always
absolutely.
do. Dan,
Yep.
you are first, as we all know.
I am first, and thank you for acknowledging it. As I said, I've never seen this movie, but I knew this movie existed. I feel like this was a movie that a bunch of people my age liked, but not enough for me to care. So I'm concerned that it will be okay, but not great. So I'm going to say, no, I'm going to be optimistic though. So I'm going to say 4 real kissins,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
which I guess is like
With-
episodes with Drew Barrymore. Sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yep.
I forgot her agent fought hard to get that in the title.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
and
yeah.
They can't kick her off, right? It's in the title. That's a
exactly.
Hell
good move.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Beth, you're second, as we all know.
That is true. I'm scared
Mhm.
because I used to really like this movie. I just feel like it's not gonna hold up at all, and so I'm gonna be a coward and give it as many real kissins as there are E's in real.
Yes.
3.
On theme.
Love it.
On theme. Very good.
My name is Dan. I am third.
Thank you. Hello.
Yes. I have no feelings about this movie. I don't know. I guess I'm gonna say 3 because I don't know. Drew Barrymore's charming. If this, I feel like there's a good chance it's got wild '90s energy,
Nice.
and that's
Are you
Very
worried
good.
that's going to
that's good. That's a good thing for me.
But it's a teen movie. Is it going to move too fast?
Oh shit!
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Didn't even occur to me.
Mhm.
Well, that's gonna tamp it back. I'm gonna stick with 3, but I am now very concerned that there's gonna be a party scene that I won't be able to follow, and I'll get
Yes.
angry and confused.
So the cowardly approach is maybe the safe bet for you
Yeah.
in that case. Yeah.
This is Molly. I go forth, and that's not a source of offense to me.
Yeah.
I am excited to see this movie. I enjoy Drew Barrymore so much, and I really don't think I've seen this whole movie. I think I've seen like a part of it on an airplane or somewhere accidental. I don't think
Maybe
I've
like
actually...
a VH1, like I Love the 90s or something.
Oh yeah, maybe something like that. That would be about right.
Great choice.
But yeah, because I can't really call up anything other than like one scene in my head. Typically I would give it like a 3 or maybe a 4 to be optimistic, but I believe in the Boodle Horse.
Yes.
And I always like to give that executive producer bump of faith and trust and fun.
Mhm.
And so I am coming in with 5
Damn.
Wow.
real kissins with Drew Barrymore.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how deeply
Incredible.
committed I am to this podcast and to our executive producer.
Wow.
The Boodle Horse.
The Boodle Horse. With that, we're going to pause, go watch Never Been Kissed, and we'll be right back.
Hey, listeners, it's also Dan doing his best impression of other Dan doing this.
Oh, wow.
Did you know that this episode is only happening because of our wonderful executive producer patron, the Boodle Horse?
Boodle Horse.
And you might be asking yourself, wow, that's so fun to force the Totes crew to watch a movie that they may have otherwise not watched. How would
Boodle
I do
Force?
that? Well,
What's up?
excuse me?
Boodle Force?
Are we the Boodle Force?
We've been Boodle
The Boodle
Forced?
Force is with us.
Oh, we've been Boodle forced to watch the movie.
Yep.
If you want a Boodle Force trademark pending us to watch a movie, go take yourselves to patreon.com/totesrecall.
.com.
And yes. And click on whichever tier is the thing we're calling this on Patreon. Do we call it executive producer or do we call it
Yes.
something stupid?
No, I think it's executive producer.
Great.
No way to know.
No way to know, except if you, the listener, go to patreon.com/totesrecall and you can pay us money. Not as much as you'd think.
No. It's probably like
Or-
is it like $1,000 a day?
No. Come
Not
on.
even
It's like-
close.
I mean, it's maybe, I don't even know if it's a whole $1 a day. I haven't done the math.
Oh wow.
No, it's not. It's less
Okay.
for less
Look at
than
it. What
a dollar
hot-
a day.
Less than $1 a day.
For a
You can
year.
executive produce a whole brand spanking new bonus extra-sode of this podcast of a movie of your choosing, unless we hate it, in which case you'll get a very polite email from Dan.
Yep.
Listen, a polite email from Dan is like worth the cost of admission.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
also want to
he
say,
tries
people are
so
sitting
hard.
at home right now thinking the Boodle Horse isn't real. Yes, it is. We made up
We've
the
seen a
Boodle
picture.
Horse. And it became so beloved that it is someone's nickname. And so that actual person is the actual executive producer of this actual episode that only came into being because somebody went to patreon.com/totesrecall and made it happen.
.com.
.com, indeed. I'm in a good mood. I'm going to let Dan have this one.
Don't
And
Boodle Force him.
now, back to the show.
And we're back. We just watched 1 hour and 47 minutes of, I mean, some real, it just, a little confusing.
Yeah. That's about right.
Yeah, right on.
Before we get too far into it, do we want to revisit our Union Strong pre-call with a
Absolutely.
double Dan
Yeah.
I'm
60
pretty
second
sure-
summary?
Wait. What are we doing?
Molly wants to run down our bets from the first half Union Strong pre-call.
Oh, I was going to
No,
have you do
she's trying to
6x sum.
she's
Oh, do you
trying
want to
to
do it together?
She's trying to weasel her
Double
way
Dan.
into timing. That's what's
I
happening.
see what's happening.
She pulled her phone out.
No, I
I've got it
understand.
ready.
Fine.
Oh wow, we're doing a double recap. I love it.
Fuck it.
On
Is that
purpose.
okay?
whatever.
It just
yeah,
seems
it's
fun.
not going to matter if you're timing anyways. So
No,
like,
that way we
let's-
can win 2 awards this way.
Oh,
Okay,
yeah,
this
there
is
you
great.
go.
60
Double the
second
awards.
summary, the segment in which we summarize the movie we just watched, Never Been Kissed.
Yes,
in
except
60
there'll be an
seconds
asterisk next to this
exactly.
one because it will be timed incredibly poorly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, don't forget we open on and begin.
We open on
We
the baseball
open
field,
on-
and
Oh,
then
that's
there's
right.
a narrator.
record scratch. How did I get here?
Yes,
Jump
it's
back.
Chicago, baby.
Chicago baby. She's a reporter, and she didn't have a good high school.
She's a nerd. Gary Marshall says, go to high school or you're fired for some reason
That's
that I'm
right.
not clear on.
And she's like, I can do it. Everybody says you can't, but she
Yep.
does it anyway.
Yep.
Tries to be high school kid.
Fails.
30 seconds.
Miserably.
Fails. Is a nerd. Is friends with the nerds. Can't get a story. She's gonna get fired. Her
Hot
brother.
for teacher.
Hot for teacher. Teacher's hot for her. She's hot for
Ugh.
boys. Boys are
Yeah.
hot for her.
Yes.
Her brother steps in. Is cool. Helps her out. Is also trying to get with a 16-year-old.
Sort of.
10 seconds left.
In the end, they all go to prom and things go well, but poorly. And she stands up for a nerd friend.
No one
and
goes to jail. Nothing illegal
Then
actually happens.
She writes a
Scene.
good story.
Done.
God damn it.
Well, I guess
Hey,
she
my
never
timing
was.
was impeccable this
Your
time.
timing
That was
was
pretty
very
good.
good, actually.
I'll
You're
give
welcome.
I'll
Thank
give
you.
credit for that.
Thank you for
There was plenty of chaos with two Dans doing
Yeah.
How dare
Yeah.
you?
the 6-6
How dare
And
you?
I think there was a dog barking every 1 second,
Oh,
so we
sorry.
knew what the the second count was.
Sorry.
On time.
Wow.
It's
Well,
around
probably nothing more to add. Podcast over.
podcast over. Yeah.
Now I will review my notes from your pre-call.
Thank
Los Angeles
Nope.
smells.
you.
Dress doesn't match shoes. Another girl is mean. Drops
yes.
book.
Yes.
Staircase drops.
Sort of.
Fast forward 30 years later
Not quite.
to get kissed. Everybody to kiss her. Why no one? Kissing booth competition.
No.
Science.
Yes.
Okay.
I
mean,
lost
obviously,
you like halfway through those.
technically 100% Utah, but
Technically,
I think
for sure.
the biggest swing that I feel very good about nailing is the movie does end with everybody kissing in a big
Yes, it was wild. It was. I mean, we're obviously jumping way ahead, but like there, I was literally waiting for Rodney Dangerfield to just come out and be like, "Hey, everybody's gonna get laid." Oh
yeah,
man.
this movie is wild. Comes out in 1999.
Yeah.
I was 17 in 1999.
Wow.
Do the math. I'm 35 now. But so
Wow.
this movie was like kind of my life story. And I.
Which
had
Are
part?
never-
you Arquette? Are you David Arquette?
Did
No,
you
I
not
guess
make the
I was-
majors?
I guess I was in high school, so I was one of the high school kids.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay,
I
got
was,
you.
I was Brett, obviously.
Which one was Brett?
Brett was the real meathead football guy with,
Oh.
with the blonde tips.
The guy
Yeah.
that became one of my MVPs when they cut to the theme park and he was in like that weird cutout, just like, all right, let's raise some money for prom, and they're just throwing pies at his face.
Yeah,
He was so into it.
he was kind of like a Biff Henderson type.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was
Less-
was
less
the
but
guy
stupider.
who plays Michael on The Sopranos in this movie one of the high school kids?
I got that vibe too. I don't know if it was that kid.
Christopher plays Christopher.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't think that was.
Yeah.
It was.
He's
He had
on
that
the
vibe
front
though.
court.
He definitely had
Yeah.
that vibe though, for sure.
There were so many famous people in this movie.
Oh my
So
god!
many.
Let's
stacked.
start with Molly
Cast.
Shannon. Yeah.
Okay.
Is the best friend
The horny
Great.
best friend who works at the Chicago Sun-Times with her.
who gets plenty of intimacy but not enough love.
Yes, she loves hooking up,
Mm-hmm.
but she's maybe, compensating for some insecurities.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And then their boss, Gus, is
John C.
played
Reilly.
by John C. Reilly, who crushes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Gary Marshall
the head of the newspaper.
is very funny.
Un-
her
unexpected surprise.
other friend is Octavia
Spencer.
Spencer,
Out of
Yep.
nowhere.
which is wild. She only has like 3 or 4 lines in the whole thing.
I know.
Deserves
Crushes.
way more.
This must have
Jessica
been
Alba is one of the hot girls at school.
Yes.
Yes. David Arquette
You
is
can
her
tell
brother.
it's her. Yep. Mm-hmm.
What was that, Molly? You were gonna dig on a woman?
Yep.
No, I was just gonna say it's very funny to see her acting style in this movie versus other work I've seen her do,
Mhm.
and she was
Mhm.
less subtle. But this was a
Mhm.
less subtle role,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I'll say that.
What I'm hearing
Um,
is Molly Chase thinks women can act.
That's
Wow.
not
Yeah.
right.
That's what
There
I
are a lot of
heard.
women in this. So it must
Future
be-
Man is in
Um,
it for one scene.
Yeah. Lily Sobieski as Beth
Yeah,
already
Beth.
called out at the beginning.
Yeah.
You guys are just gonna
James Franco is one of the teens.
Yeah, you guys are just gonna just glide over me saying Future Man.
I honestly don't know who that is.
The Hunger Games?
No, the other Wilson brother is in this movie as a security guard. He plays Future Man in the Wes Anderson debut Bottle Rocket. And I love the fact that his name is Future Man. They all call him Future Man. It's not explained why. I think he's like a bodybuilder or something, but it's like the other Wilson brother who isn't Luke or Owen.
I didn't know there was a third brother.
I only know him as Future Man. So when I saw him, I literally shouted out loud, much to my wife's confusion, Future Man?
And who does he play?
He was the security guard who was like, go into the gender-specific metal detector.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
I think there's a TV show called Future Man with one of the
correct.
The Hunger Games.
That was later. Much later.
Got it. Wow.
Speaking of Wilsons, my wife wondered if the romantic lead was Luke Wilson in this.
My wife also wondered that.
That should have been
that
the casting.
Yeah. He does have Luke Wilson vibes.
Yeah.
But he's some guy I've never heard of or seen in my life.
My wife, NBD,
like
recognized him. Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't know from what.
He's been in stuff.
It said he was an alias.
That's what she said.
Oh,
it was from,
yes.
Which I've never seen.
That's right.
So.
I have not seen it either. So yeah, we were wrong. There were lots of famous people in this movie.
So many. This was also the first production for Drew Barrymore's production company, which I had kind of remembered but forgot to say in the first half.
Flower something?
Yeah.
Yep.
Flower Productions or something.
It's called Flower something? That's the name of the production company?
Yeah.
Great.
Everybody did a good job, and I could not fathom how to feel about this movie, who to root for, what I wanted to happen, what I was supposed to want to have happen.
Let's, for the sake of making a podcast, let's just like kind of go through the chronology of the movie. We already got to the point. So this is actually
did that summary, but okay.
All right. Well, and I guess the podcast's over, and the Boodle Horse got their money's worth, and fuck me, Dan. Jesus.
I like the idea of going through the chronology.
Thank you, Beth.
I also support Dan.
All right, well,
thank you.
And other Dan, but
Molly, no.
grumpy right now.
He's got to get up early. It's fine. I get it. Okay, so this is actually it's actually good that we're going chronologically because my dogs were freaking out right around the time that the plot started. So why did Gary Marshall tell her to go to high school?
His
daughter.
He realized that had like some allergy or something.
Okay.
Peanut allergy, and he didn't realize that he didn't know that about his own kids. So what doesn't he know about teenagers? Somebody do a story on that.
Oh, okay.
And
so he's
just sort of like, you go do a story, semi-randomly.
I guess of all the named characters that worked for the Chicago Sun-Times, she was the most plausible to hide out as a teenager, but I still it was not believable at all that she was a teenager.
But I thought that was one of the best parts about the whole premise of this movie is that everyone who plays a teen in these teen movies is in their early 20s.
Right.
So the fact that she's early 20s playing amongst other early 20s, kind of worked.
Yeah, I had to, I could not get over it. So at one point, I literally, during the movie, I had to look up how old is Drew Barrymore and then how old is Jessica Alba. Yeah. Jessica Alba is, I think, 7 years younger than her.
Okay.
Checks out then.
Yeah, that's probably right.
All right.
Right. So, the age gap at least was appropriate. I still don't know how old either of them were at the time.
Yeah. I don't remember it being so drastic when I was a younger person.
Of course.
I didn't think it was, I'm like, oh yeah, she could be in high school. But yeah, as an adult looking back, I'm like, no way, man.
I think it's because as you get older, once you become an adult, you start to you actually gain the ability to distinguish between adults, right? Because when you're a kid, everyone's just old. You're just like, oh, that person is an old person. They're 30?
Yeah.
Ugh. You know what I mean? But now,
I know
like,
exactly what you mean.
I've been an adult for a while. I could say, like, this person's clearly in their 20s. This person's clearly in their, you know what I mean? Like, you can at least, like, parse it out a little better. Not all the time.
Well, and speaking of parsing it out, like the thing that's true of this high school, it's true of all movie high schools, is that everyone there is a junior or senior.
Yes,
Like if
correct.
you see a true high school mix of
Right.
kids,
Yes.
like those freshmen and sophomores seem so young.
Yeah,
Yep.
no, you're
But
right. That's a great
But I
point.
remember when I was about 17, I remember my mom saying something to me in the car on the way. She was like, when you're 17, your personality is pretty much baked. Like you're going to learn
Ooh, that's so
a lot of
depressing.
stuff. But like, but she wasn't wrong. And like, I think about how, like the level of what I was thinking,
Mhm.
like you're always in this transition, right? You're not really 17. You're half 21, half 15. You're
Yes.
like
Right.
sort of like both of those things. But yeah, I mean, I got a lot more mature and had more life experience, but my personality was pretty much done. And I was having higher level conversations with other adults in ways that I was like, oh, this is how it gets confusing, right? Like, I see what's going on here. I see why it gets muddy when kids are in their like 17 or 18 time versus like 14 or 15. Like, come on.
Sure.
Yeah.
Get out of town with that.
The other thing that did not stand out to me as much, and I feel like this is a major topic to discuss, was how many creepy relationships are happening in this movie.
Yeah.
There are so many of them. I
Yeah.
just thought the teacher and Josie was creepy, and it was like, oh, it's not really that creepy because they're actually both adults. But no.
Yeah.
Rob, her brother,
Oh man.
goes back to, well, sorry. Okay, we're not going in time order.
Yeah. Let's
Okay.
all do Dan's idea.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
goes.
Great idea, and we support him.
We learn about her brother Rob because she has to go get his shitty car so that it's a believable teen car. Because that is apparently the part of the undercover assignment that she's actually going to lean into. Not like, I don't know. I guess she got like a
She's
different
trying,
haircut.
though.
Yeah.
Yeah, because her hair was like the hair of a matronly 60-year-old.
Yes. Here's the part I don't understand, though. Like, the part I don't understand about her when she first starts going back to high school, like for the first couple weeks of the semester or whatever, like it seemed like she was almost wearing less makeup when she was going to high school, but like it seemed like she should be wearing like way more for it to be, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she just had such a neutral makeup look when she first went to school, and it seemed like she should be like putting some pops in there if she's supposed to be a teen. You know what I'm saying?
But she doesn't know how to be a teen.
Oh, that's true.
And
That's a
her
great
friend
point.
Anita dresses her, and Anita's even older than she is. That's how she ends up with a
sure.
feather boa and a white outfit.
That's when we get our first of many savage takedowns from the teen girls,
Ooh.
where she's like, "Oh my god, 5 chickens had to die for her to look that stupid." Which honestly, solid burn.
Solid
burn.
burn.
Solid.
Yeah, they are good
Those
bullies.
teens are savage. They are brutal.
Yeah.
Kirsten, Christy, Gibby, or whatever the fuck their names are.
That feels like a very 90s joke to be exasperated that there's someone named Kirsten and not Kristen, and it's
For sure.
different.
Oh,
Yes.
and there's a feng shui joke
Yes.
early on that I was
Yeah.
like, oh yeah. Like,
Oh yeah,
there's
let's
a lot of.
From
let's
her assistant
park
named
it.
Merkin?
I think Gary Marshall punched up the script.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Ooh,
he
I could see
definitely
that.
toward
Yeah,
the end did.
Yeah, I could see that for sure.
Dan wants to talk about Merkin.
I do, because like, what is his deal? So he's her assistant, is that correct?
Yeah.
Like
But
he
he's
works
also,
for Drew
like,
Barrymore?
He's like
A
doing
dick
the
to her?
game, or isn't
Yes.
that the thing? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's so many characters in this movie.
yeah,
Yeah.
man.
I found it exhausting. Flash
Of
forward.
course you
I found
did.
it exhausting, but not in the typical teen movie way. There's just
No,
like
that's true.
too much going on for
All the time. Yeah.
all. We got a guy in the van halfway through the movie.
This is why we have to go in order,
Okay.
Dan.
Exactly.
Because there's so
Okay.
much.
There's so
let's
much.
just start
exactly.
at the beginning.
Okay.
She's got a sad life. She
Yes.
looks like she's 100. She's wearing her hair in this very matronly, sad way.
She's
and
very
wearing boring
pedantic.
clothes. Yes.
Which is why she's a good copy editor, but also why she has never been kissed. Or at least never been kissed, like, good? I'm still not clear
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
She's never been she's physically been kissed, but not
Okay.
like a great like love kiss.
I don't think that you
I
can
see.
say I've never been kissed and then be
Yeah.
like, well, I haven't been kissed good. Or I haven't kissed the person
speaking-
that I'm going to love for the
Right.
rest of my life. It's like, well,
Speaking
most
as
people who
someone
are
who
dating
wasn't
have
kissed
it.
much as a teen, I
Yeah.
also took issue with that
Yeah.
Yeah.
because
Check
I
your
feel
privilege.
like, yeah,
Josie.
Your kiss privilege.
yes, absolutely. Some of us didn't even get shitty kissed for much of high school.
Oh, I know.
So,
The fact that I got mono before I got kissed made me
yeah,
furious.
Yeah, that's rough.
yeah,
That is
that
rough.
is rough.
Yeah. So yeah, I hear you. I don't, and it was an interesting side point in the. It felt like it was an edit later. Somebody was like, "It's not believable if 25-year-old woman in Chicago didn't kiss
sure.
anyone in college or anything."
Yeah,
Sure.
I don't want people to
So.
think she's fucking gross and weird.
But she is a romantic.
Yes,
I did love that about Josie very much.
Yes,
That she's like, yeah.
yes, and we learn through occasional flashbacks like what her actual high school experience was, because a lot of people at the beginning are like worried about her. She's like, are you sure you can do this? And then her brother also is worried, so it's like, oh, okay, maybe there's actually some valid concern there. If he was also like, I don't know if this is a good idea, especially considering that her brother, we learn, works at what is apparently a tiki themed Kinko's or something.
Yeah.
Like, what the
Weird.
fuck? What
Oh,
the
yeah,
fuck was
UPS.
that?
I think it's a shipping. It's more like a yeah.
Can you-
Oh my god!
Can you imagine?
Why is it
like
tiki
every time?
themed?
Like if you're a business owner and you
Yes.
are like, okay, well, the most convenient, copy place is
Yep.
just down the street.
Yep.
But every time I walk in there, they put a lei over my head.
I
Yes.
just want to send a package.
I just want to get this out of here. I'm literally
Oh.
here every single day.
Right. I don't
I
need a
would
lay
still be
every
into it.
time. Well,
Yeah.
I'd be into it until apparently you didn't like meet the criteria, because Rob was like, "Oh, it's just my sister," and then his coworker or boss just like, "Aloha, my ass," and takes the lay back.
Wow,
It's like,
That to
Jeez,
me
man.
feels like somebody came with a punchline first and worked their way backwards into a whole bit about it.
Yeah, maybe Gary Marshall said it out loud
I
at one
think he
point
did.
while telling a story of some trip he took to Hawaii, and they're like, "Gary, that's great. Let's write it into the movie."
That's gold.
Yeah.
We'll find a way to wedge it in. No
Yeah.
problem.
How about a tiki copy or copy shipping place?
My gosh.
Even what blew my mind is like, because she gets she has like a minor panic attack while there, and then we learned that like even the bathroom is tiki themed, which is like, that's an employee bathroom. There is no need to decorate it like that,
Gotta go hard.
Yeah.
I guess.
So she shows up at high school for the first
Yes.
day, and she's
Yes.
in this car. She's getting out of the car, feeling like she's going to do great.
Yes.
And it is just an endless sadness of unraveling of hopes.
It is a
Uh,
wow.
Embarrassment after embarrassment. There is a moment where her teacher, she comes and says something like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm late." And the teacher's like, "I'm sorry, I forgot my menopause hot flash pills." And I would be like,
What?
first of all, that teacher is not old enough
I know
to
that's
be
what
in
I was thinking. I was like,
menopause.
what is she's like
She's like
late
35,
30s?
maybe 40. And second of
Maybe.
all,
Maybe
hot
40.
flash pills?
Yeah.
There's no such thing as hot flash pills.
Maybe that was a Gary punch up too. It's
It
like,
feels
ah,
like it was.
what if
Yeah.
the lady had a menopause and she was like,
But we
just a
already cast her, Gary. We already found somebody
Yeah.
great for the
No.
role.
Look how old she is. She's like
we gotta
40
show
years
how
old.
we gotta show how much older every other woman in the movie is, so it's believable that Drew Barrymore could pass as a teenager.
Oh my god.
Give her a hot flash pill. I don't know.
Gary said hot flash, but we gotta put it in.
But Drew Barrymore embarrasses herself completely,
yes.
thoroughly.
Oh,
And the only thing that saves the day at all is that she's befriended by Lily.
yes.
Slow-
Oh, Aldous.
Yeah.
So nice.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And she takes her under her wing. She helps her understand that the popular kids stole her car and put it somewhere. And just like
Yikes.
befriends her and incorporates her into the denominators, which
So
is the
cool.
calculus group.
Yes. And like she, without even hesitation, like she's so nice. She's so welcoming. Yeah, I think Aldous is like literally the most mature character in the entire movie, and there are so many adults in this movie.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. So she gets part involved in the calculus team, and she is, let's be honest, kind of thriving, right? Like she's having a great time. She's crushing it at the math meets or whatever the fuck they're doing.
Yes. She feels accepted. She's having a blast.
She's having a blast. And then
she's starting to dress kind of normal. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, she's just starting to like find her own. Like she is still developing a weird crush on some sort of space vampire teen that we'll talk about in great detail, I'm sure.
Boy.
Yeah. And also the teacher is crushing on her.
Yeah, she definitely finds him attractive to begin with, and then she just like happens to know literally anything in his English class, and he's like, "Oh, who's this?" And it's very uncomfortable.
I understand the fantasy is supposed to be about the rom-com, but mostly the fantasy was they had such beautiful classrooms and in-depth conversations. I was just like, this is not my high school experience.
Not dog.
No. I liked the part where he pulled out his hockey stick.
He had that loaded. He had that ready to go.
Yeah, to tell a story about the different costumes we wear to pretend to be other people and what that power that gives us in a movie about someone pretending to be someone else.
Which like LOL,
but it's deep.
But also like there was like weird like homophobia at the beginning when he's like trying to get the jock kid to like understand what he's talking about. He's just like, "Oh, you touch each other's butts, huh? But it's okay because you're in costume, right, kids? Bibbity bow." Come on, Brett.
I feel like that was a common joke in the 90s, though, wasn't it? I feel like that was the whole thing of like, football players touch each other on the butts, but only on the field.
LOL.
Sure.
But yeah, no, I'm going to blame Gary Marshall. I'm just going to go and put that on him.
Oh, I'm going to blame 1999.
Fair.
Yeah.
And so her assignment's going poorly. She has no story.
Yes.
All the story pitches suck, according to John C. Reilly. So they bug her out.
Hold on. She gets scooped. This is the part that blew my mind. She gets scooped by their competitor because for some reason, a major metropolitan newspaper did a profile on like the abandoned drive-in that the teens hang out at.
Yeah, that was blowing my mind the entire movie. The premise of this movie is that she works for the major Chicago paper,
Chicago Sun-Times,
and she's doing a story about a high school, maybe in the suburbs, and two papers are doing it. They get scooped twice.
Well, the second one at least kind of makes sense because that is like borderline a crime when she gets scooped at the end of the movie. But like
hangout busted.
It's not even busted. That's what blew my mind. It wasn't even like.
Did you all hear the cool kids are hanging out in the park?
Yes, like literally, the John Scott is reading the story. And it's just like 17-year-old whatever says like, "Oh, the cool kids are hanging out at the court." He's like, "This is where you gotta be." It's like, why is that a story in the newspaper?
Simpler times, I guess.
Yeah,
I guess. And it wasn't even like an expose of like teen drinking is on the rise. It was just like, check out these cool teens.
It's that's like a really old timey thing where they used to report on like when families would go on vacation.
Yeah, I guess. Oh man. Yeah, and that was the first
sort of small town shit, but it's the Chicago
We should touch on
Sun-Times.
We should touch on the court for a second because that is like the first moment that we like truly see the what's his name? What's the kid's name?
Guy?
The hot guy. Jesus,
literally
of course
Guy.
Of course it's fucking Guy because he's a space alien in disguise.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we learned like he's there
yes,
at the beginning because she's
Guy.
Guy.
Yes,
yeah, like
at
first she
human.
Yes.
It is me, a guy.
Guy teenager.
Guy Ford.
So she like first we meet him because he is like this era equivalent of Billy, who is the guy you had a crush on when she was in high school, which we'll get to because that's also insane. But then we like truly experience him the first time when Aldous and other person who I don't even know if they're named in the backseat.
Yeah. It's like someone's
and-
little sister.
Yeah, I thought that
Oh,
was
is
his
it her
little
sister?
Yeah, I
Oh,
think
okay.
So, yeah.
So all this is, again, just trying to show her around, show her the community that they're in. She's like, oh, this is the court. This is where, like, kids hang out. But she even says, like, oh, they just get drunk here. But then Guy just, like, comes up to the car. I should say slinks up to the car like some sort of snake
So
man.
mean.
His shirt is like, he's got, like, an open silk shirt and, like, a very elaborate necklace that may or may not be made of old crucifixes. I'm not sure. And he's just like, hey, Alpo, like, ooh, go back to your doghouse or whatever. But he does it. It's like, I don't know. Like, I couldn't get over him. Like, he was so weird.
And he didn't have like a crew. Like he wasn't
No.
for a movie that is ostensibly like a, teen rom-com. He was not an archetype at all. Like he was not a jock. He was not a popular kid, but he was.
Oh, he was a popular kid.
But like he didn't have a crew
he was like,
with the other ones. He was
he was.
I don't know.
He was like like his thing was like.
I couldn't handle
His thing was like he was like the school's like arbiter of cool, right?
But he was like kind of arty, but not.
Yeah.
Like
Listen,
he seemed like
that
he
is
should be
what
an
makes
arty
him
kid.
so cool. Is he
Because he's so
transcends
mysterious. Yes.
genre, and
Probably
he
because
was
he has absorbed
voted
the
prom
life
king.
force of so many
Oh
other
no,
high
exactly
schools.
no. He absolutely would like invite various people from various cliques to his house and then just like mind meld with them and like steal their essence and be like, this is what the teens enjoy.
Yeah.
But I'd
Yeah.
forgotten that he's the one that is so mean to them at that
He
moment.
is so mean.
Yeah.
Ugh,
Yeah.
so mean. And like you can,
So-
and all this again keeps her cool.
Mm-hmm.
But even Josie is like, do you want to hang out at the court? And she's like, oh, it's just But clearly she wants to be accepted because what teen doesn't? Like even for the people, I mean, again, like even people that you were like, these guys suck. It's still shitty to be
Yeah.
like rejected by anyone.
Like,
So true.
or I mean, if just anyone in your life today talked to you that way,
Oh my God, right?
I'd
be like, what the fuck is your problem?
what is wrong with you? Get out of here.
Yeah, but he's so cool and mysterious and like, I heard he's got a vial of his own blood hanging out of his neck.
Well, there's more mystery to go with Guy. So
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
So we at this point in the movie, Josie is really feeling herself because she has friends.
Yes.
But she's not with the in crowd, but she's been mandated to get in with them.
Oh, which
So
like, good Lord.
Yeah. So she is like trying to do that.
And once that happens, they put a camera on her.
Mm-hmm.
And we
Yes.
get a new character that I liked, but we didn't need, of the guy in the van,
Agreed.
who's so cool, but like, why? Why do we need
I
this
don't know.
whole other character to have?
I don't know.
Comedy?
Because he doesn't even, because she doesn't have an earpiece. So like, he's not talking to her. He's just
Yeah,
like
he
talking to himself in the van while
He just
watching
reacts
her.
and has a girlfriend in his
He
van.
does, but he has the job at the end of the movie of being overheard by the teacher.
Oh, sure.
He's got to be the messenger.
I see.
Yeah. So the surveillance stuff at first, I was like, oh, I'm going to hate this. But it turns out it was part of a fun gag where
Yes.
the number of people sneaking in to watch the feed at work
Yes.
gets more and more and more people. So that by the end, people are following it like a soap opera.
That was very funny where they had like, they were betting on like how the prom was going to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. It was funny.
So it paid off. But anyway,
Yes.
the van guy, like, they're going to do surveillance and they're surveilling. And there is.
Hold on,
like-
real quick.
Yes.
Real quick. The reason we know he's cool is because right after he sets up the camera, Josie asked him like, how are you so cool? And he's just like, hey, just herbs and berries, man.
Oh, but we jumped over, or maybe not. Maybe it's about to come, where she goes and tries to be cool by going to the music venue that everybody's going to.
And
my
to do
God.
that, she, of course, stands up her good friends.
Oh,
So she's already making the transition.
This is when she
from-
turns.
She mean girls her.
Yeah, she
She
mean
really
She
girls
mean
her.
girls Aldous.
She
Yeah.
goes Aldous.
Mhm.
And so she goes she goes to the
Go
music
ahead.
venue, which has
There's a lot to
mixed
unpack
age,
here.
right? She gets the hand stamp
Yes.
because she's underage. That's fine.
Yes. But
Then hangs
Again-
out at a bar with her teacher who flirts with
Yes.
her and whose
And
girlfriend
his
is also
girlfriend.
there.
I don't know that he's flirting with her.
I don't think
at
he's
that
trying
moment.
to flirt with her, but he's still like, there's a feeling there.
I
There's
gotta
sparks
say
flying.
that there's a certain point in the movie that we will get to where all of a sudden
Yes.
his relationship with her becomes not okay.
Mm.
And I think
Yes,
at this
agreed.
point it's like he's
It's
like
okay.
interested in her maybe, but he's not showing it really. It's just like, this
There-
is my student.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel bad for her because she's not fitting in with the kids and blah, blah,
Right.
blah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Fair.
So,
Yes.
yeah, at this point, he's just being friendly.
Yes,
And-
but the vibes are already off because of movie language, where we learned earlier that like they're into it. Like movies have told us they're attracted to each other, right? So like there's a part of you that's just
Yes.
like, oh no, where is this going? Yeah.
Yes.
And in a regular rom-com where there wasn't a problematic power and age
Yes.
difference,
Great meet
you
cute.
would be cueing into, his current girlfriend is trying to change him. He's at a point in his life where he needs to figure out who he is.
Yep.
Like there would be, the language of rom-coms is there, but it is
Totally.
hard to get into when
Yeah.
you're like, that's her teacher. As far
Yeah.
as
Yeah,
he
exactly.
knows.
Yeah.
Yep.
Can we
And by the way, there's
before
no
we mo-
principal that knows. Nobody
Apparently-
at the school
Nobody
knows.
knows.
No one
Well,
knows.
and probably the reason is because what we learn like by association is that the administrators at the school are terrible.
Yeah.
Because her
Yeah.
older brother can just waltz in one day and be like, "Oh, I printed a fake ID at Tiki Hut, man."
He's younger. He's 2 years younger, but no big deal.
Oh.
Yeah, he's 23. She's 25.
Oh, okay.
Not
No.
to be
well,
pedantic.
he reads like a loser older brother.
He does. He sure does.
So
But at the music venue, she gets a little loose and hangs out with the band. I think they're the band.
No, it's
Or-
Yeah.
Rastafarians.
well, no,
just-
she's hanging out with the Rastafari that are hanging out at the venue because that's the only open seat. Because she tries to get in good with the hot teen girls who are doing like a choreographed dance for like 5 minutes for some reason.
That dance was amazing. It was like pre-TikTok. So good.
Oh yeah, hell yeah, it was.
It's like
So
a
there's an
sexy,
open seat.
synchronized dance.
Yeah, but like whatever, teens. So yeah, there's an open seat on the couch where one of the Rastas is hanging, and it's like yeah, we're like anybody can sit down. Like they're very welcoming,
Yeah.
which
And
is
this again
good.
Feels like Gary Marshall punch up. Like, we need to get her loose. Who smokes weed? Rastafaris. Get some Jamaicans in there. Make them
Yeah.
real Jamaican.
Yeah, we got to make it very clear what's going on in this corner of the club.
We
Yeah.
gotta
They got-
say it's a pot brownie, but don't spell it out. But like spell it out. You know what
Just
I'm
keep
saying?
calling it a special brownie.
Special
which
cake. They called it cake,
I
They call
did.
special cake, and they did say it had vitamin T, H, and C in it.
which
so.
was pretty good. That's pretty
I
good.
did not understand that joke as a kid. That went
Oh,
way over
sure.
my
That would've
head.
gone-
And I was like,
no.
oh, she gets high in this movie?
Yeah.
Amazing.
I thought she had a delicious brownie,
Yeah.
and then
Well,
She
I
was
thought
just-
maybe that she was drunk.
Oh,
like
sure.
like she had been drinking or something like
Like
that.
secretly, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but I get
sugar
it
rush.
now. No big deal.
I did appreciate when guy in the van realizes what's happening, and like there is a moment where he is essentially like you and the Whoopi Goldberg "you and Danger Girl" moment, but he can't talk to her because for whatever reason they didn't give her an earpiece.
that's one
Yeah.
way.
Ugh.
This was the moment though in the movie where I was like, as I'm not yet overwhelmed in my watching experience. At this point, I
Yes.
was just like, you know what, Drew Barrymore, you're doing great. Like when
She
she's
is.
just like high on
She's
the
crushing
stage,
it.
being wild and charming. I was like, great job.
Yeah. Yes.
There's a reason you're a star.
Yeah.
Yes. Get up there with a feather boa and Ozomatli because this is a fucking peak 90s soundtrack that slaps hard.
So good. It is so good.
Yeah, I forgot this was
Okay.
Swing Arrow. There's a big bad voodoo daddy reference.
Oh
Ref-
my gosh.
But like,
And
and
then
like
some
as a
songs.
positive.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
that's part of how Rob makes her cool. He's like, oh yeah, she used to date the drummer from Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
Yeah, so after she goes to this like bar or whatever,
Yeah.
I think that's when Rob shows up because she shows up. The hand stamp goes on her
Oh,
head and
right.
it says loser on her forehead. So everybody's calling her
Yes.
loser, and that's kind of like her low
Yes.
point as like the nerdiest
Yes.
nerd at school.
Yeah.
And
that's
then
when you flash back to what happened to her at prom.
Oh
Yes.
my God. Okay. Yes.
was
Let's
brutal.
get into
Wait,
it.
before all the 90s kids yell at me, ska. Big Bad Voodoo Daddy is a ska band, right?
Sorry,
Not
what's the
swing.
name of the band?
Big Bad Voodoo Daddy.
No, they
I
were part of the swing revival.
Were they? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
I was conflating with the Cherry Poppin' Daddies.
They were also part of the swinger.
There's
Well, they
so
were
many
like, I feel like
bands.
they were like riding a line. They were kind of riding a line, right?
Zoot suit, right?
No doubt. All right.
There you
Let's
go.
go.
I got it.
We can continue now.
Okay, so we had a couple of earlier flashbacks where we mostly just learned that she was like an awkward teen. She's really into this guy Billy, and he's just kind of like, and then she like reads this poem that's so earnest.
Yeah.
She calls
In
it a
class.
poem. He read
poem.
my poem.
Yeah, and then her, I assume, friend is like, "Oh my God, Billy's gonna ask you to prom." And she's like, "Oh my God, the poem," and they're having a great time. Everyone's happy. Cut to flashback, the ultimate low point in Josie Grossi's, which was the nickname they had, by the way.
Yeah.
Which apparently her brother started, Rob.
Wow.
So she's like, it's like, oh yeah, it's like the limo's coming. I'll pick you up. She goes outside. She drives
first of all,
up.
she is in the cutest
She's so cute.
dress, and it's got a million ruffles, and she
Yes.
is over the moon excited.
Yes.
She goes out, and the limo is indeed driving down the street to her
Yes,
home.
he comes out of the sunroof. It's a very wonderful teen moment, and then another woman pops up, and then what I think my brain thought he threw at first was a baseball. Just like, holy shit, they're trying to murder her. No, it was an egg.
An egg.
Yeah,
And
but
threw it
still,
hard.
great shot.
Wow.
Great
Got it right in the
shot.
face.
Yeah.
Right in
Such-
the forehead. That would hurt so
Such
bad.
an effortful bullying. That was my thing.
Yes.
Is like, there's so much work to this to be so mean.
At least days, if not weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Speaking of this movie, Never Been Kissed, I found I found the flashbacks not the wrong amount for me.
Interesting.
There was
Like too much or too little?
both.
Either.
I
Yeah.
needed it to go. I needed it to go one way or the other. Like either the movie was like, here's the flashback and here's how it relates to now, or like just a big one at the top and then get on
Yeah.
with it. But it was
Yeah.
like every one came. I was like, oh yeah, we do these sometimes, and it took me out of the rest of the movie. Like I
Yeah.
didn't like because it was like trying to do a parallel moment, right? We see the egg
Right.
and then later we see the sex vampire come out of the top
Yes.
guy, and he's like, but he's actually
Please,
taking her
please
to prom.
emerge out of the
That's
top.
right. Float effortlessly.
Yes.
So that was another aspect of this movie that confused me.
Another aspect of this movie that confused me before when he asks her to prom. So Guy, the ethereal vampire kid,
Yes.
goes into her room. There's all this vibe between them.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they're having a party. Rob and Josie are having a party at their parents' house. These two adult 20-somethings.
Well,
Yeah.
Rob is having a party
Yes.
at their parents' house because they don't know that they're siblings, so
Right.
she's like trying to hide the fact that
Yeah,
it's
because
her
Rob even at one
bedroom.
point intimates that
Oh,
they
it's
dated to try to make her cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, that's
I
so
mean,
funny. So why?
Listen,
and her
good
name
on
was
Rob
the
for
door.
like planting the seeds. It was?
Yeah, there's like a
Yeah.
little license plate that says Josie on it.
Yeah,
Oh,
she,
that's
like-
why she was like, "Oh, let's go somewhere else." Huh?
Covering up, yeah.
Well, anyway, that all makes more sense now. Okay, yeah. But anyway, they sit down. He's like, I want to ask you something. He asks her to prom, and then he's like, cool, and gets up and leaves.
Yeah, cool. See you later.
Yes.
And like, I was like, they're at a party, and they actually never kiss.
Yeah, yeah.
And Rob, and this is good. Like, I want to be really clear. It is
Yes,
the
right.
feeling of myself
We are
and this
glad
podcast.
that this
Yes.
happened.
The position of the podcast is we are glad that no sex crimes occurred in this movie.
But I get what you're saying, Molly. Like that scene should also be like he makes a move and she has to figure out how
to
I
navigate it.
Yeah.
I'm attracted
Yes.
to this child, but I can't do anything because I'm a
Yes.
25-year-old
This is
woman.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But it's not. He's just like
He just
yes,
gets up and goes.
task achieved. I will take your life force on prom night.
Of course. They even have a preamble where like her and Rob talk to each other about it before that in the house because Rob is like hanging out with that girl
Who's 16.
who's like
And a-
she's 16
and a gymnast, Molly.
and a gymnast.
That's important.
That's
Ugh, yikes.
And then like
important.
so then when the space vampire puts her under his thrall and pulls her away, like Rob says some joke about like, "Oh, see you in the court," or something. I don't know. He makes some joke about
See
them
you
both
in
going
hell,
to jail. Or
Mrs.
something.
Robinson.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Yeah. They're having fun with it.
They're having fun with it.
He's got this girlfriend, I guess, but they apparently
mean-
haven't had any.
Thank God. Yes.
Thank God. But you
But,
know what I
okay.
mean? Like, This is not believable.
They didn't show it, but like if she's like at prom, his 16-year-old girlfriend, if she's like, I'd like to have sex, they've definitely kissed.
Not necessarily. Because she seems like kind of a goofball weirdo too.
Yeah.
I guess so.
But she did talk about wanting that before with the whole penguin speech.
Yeah.
But
because she was like, I mean, she like was wrapped around him all the time, and like there were a lot of high school relationships where like that was basically the extent of it. They just like never separated physically, but they weren't necessarily doing much.
Formed into one person.
Honestly, like, listen, I don't know how many
that's true.
I don't know how many practicing Christians you knew in high school, but like there were definitely some fascinating navigations happening when they were in a relationship.
Yeah.
But I think before that, I'm trying to see now that it's hard to do the timeline because what order did anything happen in?
Yeah.
But at some point they're at the carnival to like raise money for prom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And she gets on.
Oh, fuck.
She gets
I
on
totally
the Ferris
forgot
wheel.
about this.
Oh boy.
And she's by herself. And
which the attendant makes very
MVP.
clear.
MVP,
one of the best
the Ferris
line
wheel
exchanges in the
attendant.
movie. He's just like, we got a single, solo, or whatever. And she's like, do you have to say it so loud?
He calls her a lonely on 5.
Lonely. Yeah. A lonely on 5. And then she's like, do you have to say it so loud? And he goes, sure I do.
So
That guy rocked.
her teacher sees that she's alone.
Mr. Coolson.
Mr. Coolson.
His name's Sam Coolson.
And
That's
at
not
this
Gary
point,
Marshall.
at that point, I was like,
sure.
this is an adult who's like, I'm a person in this young person's life that I can be friendly to her, and she's alone.
Right.
I'm going to sit next to her and talk to her. But
Sure.
then they go up on the Ferris wheel. He talks about how he's afraid of heights, and as soon as they start coming down on the Ferris wheel, I guess, he starts talking about how his girlfriend wants him to move to New York and blah, 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 blah. And I'm
I
like,
should just grow up.
That is the exact moment where I'm like, too far. That is too far. You cannot talk about your relationship with your students like that.
To his credit, he does acknowledge eventually.
Yeah,
but like
too
that's
late.
too much baggage, bro.
Yeah.
That was the exact moment in the movie where I was like, now you have crossed the line
Right.
for what should be between an adult and a child. I guess adult and child relationship at school.
Hold on, adult and pretend child.
Pretend child.
Okay, yes.
And you didn't even know how much you'd missed that moment later in the movie.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because then it really goes downhill like from there.
It goes places.
I don't know. I don't
But
know if I should save this for later or not, because it is a fantasy, right? This is not this is not a literal expert. Like none of these people are behaving the way responsible adults would. You know,
No.
like you wouldn't have a bunch of people gathering in an office watching an undercover footage of a woman in high school. Like there's lots of layers of silliness to it, which I guess is why you have like the luau store and stuff. Like they try to make it broad enough. But yeah, from a 2024 lens, it's some rough stuff at times.
Okay,
But
I just remember
felt
this.
for this movie.
For sure. I just remember this, so let's pivot away from the sex crimes for a second and talk about the sex ed, where Molly Shannon is just showing up. She just wants to say hi and then gets pulled into a sex ed class and just goes for it.
Yeah.
Molly Shannon's best friend in this movie, hands down.
Yeah.
Molly Shannon
so good.
fucking crushes it in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like she constantly makes these references that are like not helpful for a sex ed class. She's just like, like sure, sex is fun. Eventually, like she like keeps catching herself.
Mm-hmm.
It's very delightful.
She's
so good.
And then at one point, there's a great point where she's like showing them how to put condoms on a banana. And then the actual speaker shows up with what appears to be maybe a diagram of a vulva. I'm not sure. And Molly Shannon just runs over and like pulls the shade down on the door. She could have just said no. Yeah. Why did she?
She's in there because she's hot for Mr. Coolson as well.
Who isn't? Am I right?
Yeah. I did get a legit laugh out of that scene when Josie is trying to put a condom in a banana and it slips and she nails
so
Mr. Coulson right in the face with the condom.
There is
that was really good. There was also like the DVD's moment where she falls down the stairs is like fine, like that's classic rom-com fall down. But later she is walking around and just gets like smashed in the face by the office door. And Drew Barrymore does this like amazing like Looney Tunes, cross-eyed, like birds tweeting around her head fall from getting hit by the door. And it's so good.
So good. That's as close as she gets to that principal's office.
Yeah, right?
That shot.
Oh, this is also when they're in class. There's also a moment where like there's a sudden announcement that another high school is doing Millennium for their prom theme, which is
That was pretty
probably every high school in 1999 basically did that theme, right?
2000,
which
yeah.
means nothing, by the way. So then they're like going back and forth, and then again, Guy, the space vampire, for reasons that are not clear, is just like, wait, everyone, Josie will know. Josie will have the answer.
And is he trying to set her up to fail? I don't understand what's
know.
going on.
No,
in that
no,
scene.
at that point
he
they-
thinks he's cool. She's
yeah,
cool.
because Rob
that-
has convinced everyone that she's cool.
Oh,
He's
sure.
been like spreading these rumors about her, about how she's like
Wait.
heir to some.
Wait, everyone.
X-Lax
yeah.
fortune.
Oh, X-Lax fortune. Wait, everyone. The laxative girl who fucked the drummer from Big Bad Voodoo Daddy. She'll know what a good prom theme is.
Yeah.
And she does.
And
She does.
yeah.
Which apparently, like, we learned this once we get to the prom, is like, apparently that was an appropriate theme because every student in that school has an amazing costume budget.
They go so hard. Yeah.
So hard.
Yeah.
It's,
We'll get there.
What is it called? It's meant to
meant
be
for each
together.
other.
Meant for each
Yeah.
other.
Historical.
Famous
Famous
historical
couples.
Famous couples.
Through
yeah.
the ages.
couples. Famous couples. Yeah.
Famous couples.
Throughout history.
Throughout history.
Although-
A lot of
As far as I
Barbies.
could tell, none of them were historical figures. They were all
Adam
like,
and Eve.
Yeah, I mean, we got
Yeah.
Joseph and Mary.
Yeah.
There no
there
place
was-
for you to
which
sit
was-
here. It was very funny.
Yeah, that was.
There's
that
what?
was- Joseph and Mary come over to the table.
Okay.
The biblical
they're-
Joseph and Mary.
Yes.
And they're told there's no room for them at the.
Oh,
They don't
yeah.
say in.
That was.
that was
That was good.
100% a Gary Marshall
was-
punch up.
Yeah. that's good.
Yeah.
He just thought the costumes was like, I got an idea.
Yep.
Hey, what if these horny teens dress up as the parents of Jesus Christ, our Savior?
So, okay, should we just get to the prom part?
Yeah.
I guess, because at this point, I'm trying to think if we're missing any inappropriate moments between her and the teacher.
There aren't really that many moments between her and the teacher. Like
but
in
there
my
is-
vibe.
in my memory,
Yeah,
they
that's what
are
it is.
really falling in
There-
love with each other the
there
whole time.
That's what it is.
But it's
Though.
like they
That's
talk
the
about
turn, though.
yeah.
Painting
That's the
montage.
turn. Oh yeah.
When
Yes.
they're getting ready for, I think, prom.
Prom.
And
Yep.
she like dabs his face or he dabs her face with some paint. And I'm like, nope.
Yeah. Because you're right. Because there is a moment where like it's not really a scene. There's just like a look between them, and then it cuts to work where Gus, John C. Reilly, shows the footage. He's like, "That's the story. Let's catch this pedo." Basically, like that's not how he words it. That's not how he words it. But that's essentially where he's just like, "Let's catch this sex crime in the making."
Yeah,
That's
it's to catch
essentially
a
what he.
predator.
Yeah, it really is.
Yeah.
Right, because like, what are we gonna get scooped again by the other paper of record about all this teen news that they're
Yeah.
apparently all covering? So at that point, she's being forced to like entrap this guy that she is attracted to. It's wild. I mean, like,
So she goes to prom with Guy.
Mm-hmm.
yes,
They
Rob goes to prom with the 16-year-old gymnast
Yeah.
Yep.
as Tom Cruise from
Risky
whatever
Business.
Risky Business. So he
does-
doesn't wear pants.
He looks like a Tom Cruise. He does a good job.
The
That's good.
popular
Yeah, he looks like
girls are
Tom
all-
Cruise because he looks like a middle-aged man without
He's an
pants at a
adult.
teen dance.
Ugh.
Sorry.
There's the popular girls are all Barbies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Um,
Not appropriate clothing for a teen function.
Dan had
Like-
problems with that.
I just realized I don't know, there was just, this is how I know that I'm in my 40s and I'm sorry, I'm 35. Is I was just a part of me just you're 17. You should not be wearing that revealing of clothing at a school function.
A
Right?
school function.
Yeah.
I get it. If they're out at the beach, whatever, live your life. But there are administrators there that should be keeping an eye on these kids. Although apparently the only ones there are the 35-year-old menopausal teacher and the potential sex crime teacher are literally the only adults besides the DJ in the whole place, apparently. Well, and the two adults pretending to be children.
So she ends up becoming prom queen.
And everybody cheers at her old office. Everybody's into it.
Everyone's excited.
Which was delightful.
And then her teacher comes over and asks her to dance.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Not a cool look, cool son.
Yeah.
Not a cool look, cool son.
Not.
And then at that.
son.
Oh, and then we should point out that then Aldous and her denominators, which is such a great name for the math team, they come together as DNA double helix. LOL.
So good.
And then this is what threw me off, because then Guy like pulls a Billy and it's just like, oh, what? All this, let's put it all behind us and let's have a dance. And it's like, do they have a prior relationship other than him just being mean to her sometimes?
They must, like,
because she seemed like too open to it, right? Yeah, that's what I was trying to figure
out.
out.
They were like best friends in middle school or something.
Yeah,
honestly, that would make sense. That would make more sense because all this is clearly kind of like, but I just mean like it makes sense because he's so fucking weird, and all this seems like kind of like an artsy math nerd. So like I could see how they vibed when they were younger.
Yeah.
So I buy that, but it was just like it came out of nowhere to me because I'm just like, do they have any prior relationship other than him being like, get out of here, Alpo?
Yeah, but then it's a prank. They're gonna dog food her. But then Drew Barrymore saves the day.
She has to choose between telling the truth to the teacher or saving the day for her friend.
Oh, sure.
That's right.
But this is also like right before the teacher like may or may not be saying something incredibly inappropriate.
Yeah.
Because like she is basically like she has the story, right? Like the way the dialogue is set up, like she is there, he is in the trap, and then she rips the camera off her dress and is like gonna just like have a real heart to heart with him before he incriminates himself. But then her Josie Grossi senses go off because she realizes that an incredibly elaborate bullying is about to happen. And she does maybe the coolest possible intervention given the situation.
Yeah. A dog food popular girls.
Oh, so good.
The one thing, I mean, I wanted to be taken away by the fantasy of this movie, but the Alpo consistency really did not add up.
It should have been clumpier, right?
Yep. It's like basically a solid in there.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So for it to evenly distribute over 3 beautiful Barbies, it really took me out of it.
And again, they had to bring the dog food to prom.
And a can opener.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They brought dog food and a can opener for this late in the dance prank.
Which also, if Josie's and every other girl in the school's nail file is getting thrown in the garbage by Future Man, you would think they'd also have metal detectors at the prom, right?
Yeah.
I guess it's a different venue, but
that's fair.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, they could have stolen a can opener from the food service.
Come on.
Maybe.
Yeah,
but the can of dog food's, I don't know.
Yeah,
so
maybe there's a scene that they cut where they're like stirring it up really fast with a knife.
But then we get Josie's like big speech,
which honestly,
which just almost comes out of nowhere. She's like, "By the way, I'm 25."
Totally out of nowhere. Like, why does she feel like she has to reveal she's 25?
Yeah, like it makes sense in the way that movies work, like just with the structure of a movie. But like in terms of the actual scenario that is occurring, it's like, why does she feel the need to have this speech right now?
Like she's like, I've had it with this, and it's like,
and then she throws down her surprisingly heavy-sounding prom crown.
Mm-hmm. Yes. The teacher slinks away in the background because he's like, ooh.
I will say David Arquette does some of the best acting of his life when she says, and good. Rob is my little brother.
Yeah.
He just has this like yoinks expression and slinks into the background. It's
he tries to play it cool and it doesn't work.
Yeah, he does.
And then he runs out and we see, or maybe only I saw cowboys. There were cowboys in the dance.
Oh, I'm so mad I missed the cowboys.
He runs by when David Arquette runs out.
Ooh, that reminds me, speaking of costumes, there is a moment that I don't think this would be Gary Marshall, but it was somebody who was an adult in the 90s. 2 people were dressed up as Hunter Thompson and Dr.
Really?
Whatever. Yeah. That's why, because that's like they show up next to they show up and they're like lighting the ice sculpture on fire.
Oh, sure.
Man.
Oh, that's what was happening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I feel like that prom scene I could watch a few more times. Just
There was
to
a
try
lot
to pull
going
it
on.
all.
And
Yeah.
apparently cowboys. I'm so mad that I missed.
Wow.
So upsetting. And the entire YMCA group was there.
Yeah.
It was 4 people.
Because even the speech there was like more than was needed, right? Because she like talks down the girls, she talks up Albus, sort of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tells everybody to know who they are and accept themselves.
Yeah.
While she is like not doing either of those things. And she runs out. And that's when you have the cool guy from the van come out and be like, you almost,
Yes.
what happened? So it's
Yes,
called me in 5 minutes. When are we going to get this perp?
Yeah.
Right.
And then.
Yes. The reason he's in the movie finally reveals
Yes,
itself.
Exactly.
And this is the moment where I sort of started to feel bad for Mr. Sam Coulson. Like,
Okay.
What
Hit me.
an absolute mind fuck to be like, because he is struggling with this, right?
Yes,
He's like,
yes.
I'm a teacher. Oh, I've got this student. Like his arc is, I have a student. She's very promising. Oh, wait, I have feelings for this student. That's not
Uh-oh.
great.
Yeah.
And then he's at the dance. It's like, I'm gonna reveal my feelings, and he doesn't. He's probably like, and he's outside like, that's fucked. And then he finds out she is not a teen, and she was trying to catch him. And it's like,
Yes.
who, like, as that guy, he's like, who am I? Am I
Also,
a
we
creep?
learn,
but I'm also a victim somehow. Also, like, it just
and consider the fact that we see when he's moving that he is a subscriber to the Chicago Sun-Times. So he's like, the Sun-Times was trying to incriminate me?
yeah. And like, was the whole thing a ploy? Right? Was as far as he's
he doesn't
concerned,
know.
she's in there day one. Like, I'm gonna find a teacher, get him to want to bang me, and then write a story about it.
Yeah.
That's not how it went, but that's what it looks like, right? That's
For sure.
the misunderstanding and our
For
get
sure.
our rom-com misunderstanding.
And
But then he
we get to
comes around. Like, I think
We
it's a
get
bad
to-
move. I think that relationship is not built on solid ground.
Yeah. Let's all take a deep breath because we're about to get into the most insane conclusion I could have possibly imagined for this movie. So she has no story because the story was let's catch this creep, and then obviously that didn't work out. So Gus is like, we're fucked. Like Gary Marshall's gonna fire both of us for some reason. That was never clear. I guess just because he's nuts and likes firing people.
Yeah.
Seems to be his character at that point. By that point, his character changes pretty drastically and in a great way later the next few minutes of the movie. But then she's like, no, I can get you the story, I promise. And then you still don't know where it's going because she goes back to the high school dressed as an adult and is like, hey, hide your dicks, teens, essentially, as she walks in the locker room. Goes to the coach, is like, hey, do you know about Jim whatever, famous sports writer? He's like, oh, every team in the county wants Big Jim watching the games. And she's like, what if I guarantee I can get Big Jim to your game? He's like, lady, you can do whatever you want, which is irresponsible, once again, for someone who is in charge of teenagers.
Yeah. This is a known liar who has infiltrated high school once already.
Yes.
Honestly, okay, so
But she's wearing a suit.
Yeah, she's wearing a suit.
think about this though. Like, so this all happens at prom. These kids go home and they're like, Mom and Dad,
You will not
this
believe
is so
what
crazy.
happened.
The girl
Oh.
Josie in my class was an adult the whole time. Parents are going to
Also,
swarm the school. They're going to be
let's
so
not
mad.
forget
she is
that
not
even
going to be allowed to be on
Let's not
school
forget
campus.
that even if their kid wasn't at the prom, the other competing newspaper exposed the story somehow. Because
There's another
maybe that's
agenda.
what,
Someone else is
maybe that's what it
undercover.
was. No, or maybe that's what it was. Maybe they went home and they told their parents and they're like, I have to call the newspaper right away.
But also, there was a few guys that came home
Yes.
from prom, and their parents
Like-
was like, "Did anything interesting happen at prom?" And they said, "I don't
No.
know."
Oh,
That's
for
fine.
sure. That would have been me. That absolutely would have been me. The
my
relationship I had
child.
with my mom at that year of my life, I definitely been like, no.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
So then,
Incredible.
her big story is then basically her journey, right? I was a
Yes.
bullied teen. I went back to school and I found out that teens are the same as they
Still
were
the
before.
same,
But also, I fell in love with a guy, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, and if he maybe feels the same and wants to forgive me, I am going to be at the high school baseball championship, and I will be
Nobody's
standing
mad
on
at
the
me, by the
pictures.
way.
Yeah. By the way, everyone at the high school is totally fine with me. They're great. They're totally cool with this whole situation.
I wrote
I'm gonna
nice things.
Yes. I called the mean girls beautiful, so we're besties again. I think I said something nice about all this. I don't remember. I'm sure she did.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be standing on the pit. I'm going to delay the game for 5 minutes.
It's the high school state championship. It's the Illinois State Championship.
Yes. Yes. Which means she had to get 2 schools to agree to it. And the athletic advisory board. This is bananas.
And
So she's like,
everyone
into
is
it.
there.
Yeah.
Yes.
They're all into it. They're cheering her on.
Every
story's
news
huge.
organization is there, which we know because Gary Marshall first mentions that he has hot wieners 18 times while sitting down, and then reminds us why he's
1000%
enjoying
was like,
this.
what if I walked down?
Hey, they got hot dogs at baseball games, right?
Wait, what if I call them hot weedas?
Okay, get this. I'm gonna walk down the stands and I'm gonna yell, I got hot wieners, and everybody's gonna laugh. It's really
Everybody's
gonna kill.
love it.
And then
Everybody's
just
gonna
to
love
make
it.
sure, I'm going to say it a couple more times.
Yeah. We're probably gonna have to film it so many times because everybody's gonna crack up and we'll ruin the shot. But I'm gonna say it. It's gonna be so fun. I'll also have my transparent possible pimp cane that I've been using this entire movie.
Yeah.
Maybe everyone's
Yeah.
rooting for her.
Everyone's rooting for her. She has both teen and adult friends there to support her and encourage her.
Yeah.
And
Which again
strangers.
proves that Aldous is the most mature person in this movie because she gives her a better pep talk than her horny adult Molly Shannon friend, frankly.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Which is also bananas because you'd think Aldous would be like, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Like, this woman who lied to me wants to bang my teacher. And I am helping her?
The clock counts down.
He's moving all the
Somewhere.
time.
But they
Well,
broke
he's
up.
packing up. Yeah.
But he's
Yeah.
just moving.
I feel like
He's like, I gotta get out of here because
You
I was
got it,
about
that's
to be
true.
exposed for
You know,
trying to sleep with
Yeah.
a student.
Who am I? I can't be around children
can't
anymore
stay.
until I do some work on myself.
I can't be in this community.
Small town Chicago community, because the local paper, the Chicago Sun Times, outed
Is
me.
obsessed with me. because both
like, "Not
major
again."
yeah, that's true. I mean, I guess
That's why he had
honestly,
to
like
leave Los
Yeah.
Angeles.
honestly, like, oh shit. I can see where he's coming from though, because at this point, by the end of the movie, like, he is aware that both major newspapers are obsessively following that high school.
Yeah.
So it's surprising that when there's a 5-minute countdown, gets to 0, nobody shows up. Everybody is sad and disappointed.
Everybody's
and poor
sad.
Drew Barrymore sadly drops the mic.
And we all
into
think
the dust.
she's still never going to be kissed.
Mm-hmm.
But again,
Until-
we're like, hasn't she been kissed?
Yeah. And then he runs around the corner and everyone the stadium explodes
Yes.
with the cheering.
Every teen is thrilled that this stranger is going to bang their English teacher.
Yeah.
Hot
And then-
Wieners Marshall is thrilled that the story broke.
All the teenagers are excited for their teacher to kiss the person they thought was one of their peers 3 days ago.
Oh my God.
Or I guess it's probably
He
been a couple
says,
weeks of this.
Sorry, I'm late. And she says something rom-com
Yeah, then we have-
ending.
He
No.
said it took forever to get here.
Yeah,
and
then
she
we have a
says,
very-
I know what you mean.
Yes, very double
because she's
meaning.
never been
And
kissed.
then-
well,
And
They
then-
kind of have a pretty good kiss.
Pretty good
Yeah.
kiss?
okay.
They do.
It's a pretty good kiss.
Yes,
It's
for
good.
90s movies that we have
Oh, it's
watched, this is
excellent.
like
Yeah.
top tier for
Top
sure.
Notch.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's romantic too
feeling,
because he like
doesn't
kind of
look
like
gross.
yeah, it's passionate.
Yes.
But it's not like
if you were to separate it
mushy.
from the entire last hour and a half of the movie, you'd be like, this is great. Good for them.
And that's how Fever Pitch was made.
Oh, we then get a quick end of Rob's story, which we glossed over because they get into an argument after she outs them both as adult children, where he's like, oh, it wasn't even about playing baseball or maybe banging this teenager. He was like, I really taught these kids something. I just wanted to see them succeed. And
I guess
we're all
there's no
screaming
other way
from
to
our
do
house.
that.
Right, we're all screaming
just-
like, be a coach, dude. And then someone in the writer's
Literally,
room
you can
also
volunteer to do that.
which he then apparently did because there's a shot as the team is running out. And again, no one seems to think like, oh, we should probably get them off the pitcher's mound before we start the game. There's a quick shot of somebody with an assistant coach
Well, that was
jersey, and then it's
That was the deal, right?
Yeah.
When Drew Barrymore goes in, like, I'll
Yeah.
get all the papers there if you give my brother
Yes.
a job. That's the
Yeah.
only thing. But again, he
Oh,
probably shouldn't be
sure.
able to pass a background check to work with children.
right. Oh yeah. Imagine that interview where he sits down with the baseball coach and presumably some administrator at the school.
If they exist.
And they're like they're reading the newspaper, right? They're looking over the articles in the newspaper. And they're like, okay, so you didn't actually do anything with this student, right? Like
No. She really wanted to, and she's a gymnast. But I didn't do anything. But she was really
wanted-
into it, and
she
she's a gymnast.
she was down to bang on prom night, but I said no.
Well, I didn't quite say no. I
said,
kind
let's
of just
go
I
together.
delayed.
I
I
excused
just-
myself to get some punch.
Yeah.
You know, class.
And
So
she
it's
was
fine.
And she was drunk already? Yeah, she was drunk. But I didn't
did that.
provide the alcohol. I didn't give her the alcohol.
Somebody else did.
Yeah.
She's
So-
a gymnast. Did I mention that?
I tell you what, that gymnast thing, I remember asking my mom what that meant. Because that was such a common joke. I'd be like, why do people keep saying that someone's a gymnast?
Yeah.
And she was just like, you know, the
She's
silence.
She's like, let's get some more punch. Let's get some more punch.
Punch.
Yeah.
Let's,
There was that whole there was a Seinfeld episode about it. I still
yeah.
remember it had a pretty good button where
What
like,
was the button?
well, Jerry's like stoked because he's dating a gymnast and the sex
Uh-huh.
is going to be so good, and she's from Eastern Europe somewhere. And then the end is like, you know, they do have sex and it's not that good, and it's like such a letdown. But then her is like, she's like, in my country, we always think of comedians as they must be very good at sex, and you, sir, are no comedian. And so it's like it's the mirror
That
experience
is
happening for her.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's great.
Yeah.
Finally. Yeah.
The
So
Legend
that's
of
the
Rob.
movie.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
the movie.
much.
I really liked that her resolution was to put herself in a very vulnerable position.
Yes, certainly.
Like reality aside, right?
Yeah.
But like
Right.
that was like the most vulnerable I think you could make yourself standing in the middle of a baseball field.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But then it works, and there's a kissing explosion.
Yeah, everybody
John
kisses.
C. Reilly and Molly Shannon start hooking up.
Which
Just-
they planted early in the movie. Actually,
They
I thought
did.
very
that's
nicely.
earned.
They
That's
did.
earned. Yeah.
That is actually earned. And then the teens kiss. That's earned because they're teens. Like
Yeah.
teens
Kissing's
gonna
happening.
kiss.
Yeah. I feel like there's a couple other ones too, but yeah.
I mean,
just-
some teens, right?
Not all teens.
not all teens kiss.
My movie would have been called "Seldom Been Kissed."
Which would have been more accurate for this movie.
Yeah.
Yes,
Maybe.
apparently,
I don't know.
maybe. Because
Never
even in
been
her,
properly kissed.
because I feel like even in the article she wrote, like, did she actually say properly kissed, or did she just shorthand it again and be like, "Never been kissed"?
Well, the title of the article's never been
Was
kissed.
never been kissed. This is ridiculous. I hope somebody wrote a strongly worded letter. I mean, okay, I hope they wrote
Listen,
a couple
there
of
was
strongly worded
counter
letters.
scoop in the strip.
That's true.
Yeah.
I guess there's multiple letters they should be writing. One, I feel the premise of this article is disingenuous.
Yeah.
Two, shouldn't this woman be in jail?
Yeah. 3, shouldn't we be covering more pressing topics in our major giant city newspaper?
Not to mention, this is Chicago, which means there are government crimes happening constantly.
Maybe
And they are
that's
writing
what
about
this is-
the court.
You know, maybe they're just like, listen, we
Not the legal court, by the way, the abandoned drive-in where teens
Yeah.
get drunk.
They should be covering the secret police prisons,
Yes.
the Chicago PD black sites.
Or whichever governor or mayor was doing crimes in that year.
Mm-hmm.
probably a daily.
Ooh, maybe. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I will say I loved all the Chicago shots, and
Hell yeah.
I really, yeah.
It
Here's
definitely
what I'm gonna do
passed
for-
Bechdel Wallace.
Oh,
so
for
hard.
sure.
Big time.
Yes, we were the first chat. I don't think that lady actually got named. The like other worker at the Sun Times who was like getting
Anita?
there. No. There was another girl who was like getting clearance from Drew Barrymore for like the wording of something.
Oh, yeah.
But I don't think she had a name, right?
No.
Okay, but Molly Shannon, they for sure had
Yeah,
chats
for sure.
about being women, even. God
Yeah.
forbid.
Yep.
Pretty cool.
I'm going to do something for the listeners and for us. I am going to scroll through our text chain that we had while watching this movie, and I'm going to count how many times we wrote, teacher, no. Because I feel like it happened a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot.
I think I
It was
just typed in
anytime.
No.
Anytime. I'll count those two, Molly. I think that
Okay.
counts.
Okay.
Because we know what you were referring to.
It's
Yeah.
so true. It was. I mean, I don't know. It's only like a few minutes since we've seen the movie, and already I've softened.
Yeah.
It was pretty good. I liked it.
I feel bad for him.
Yeah, I mean, he was definitely like ultimately a victim in this whole thing, but also like, check yourself, dude.
Yeah, I feel like the work that he, like the realization that he's coming to about himself of what he's capable of is
Yes.
that's tough. That's a lot of weight, and he's got
Right.
He's got.
That's why he's got to move.
I know. Yeah.
He needs to
He's
just get out. Yeah. Ugh, Mr. Coulson.
Mr. Cool.
not so cool.
Yeah.
We already made that joke.
Before we get to our final reviews of the movie we just watched, Never Been Kissed, we like to turn to Discord, our text-based chat platform, and engage with the fans with Q's and C's. And we have a ton of them, including from the Boodle Horse.
What?
Our
Do we
EP?
also get insight into why the Boodle Horse chose this particular movie?
Yes.
Excellent.
They said it's kind of a fascination of how this got made. There had to be a lot of people to sign off on this extremely problematic premise, and that's so interesting. Yeah, so many people had to be like, it's cool. Also, they would like us to opine on which of the three triple exclamation marks adults who are romantically adjacent to high schoolers are the worst.
Ooh.
That's just the start. Which of the three? Mr. Coulson,
Rob.
Rob,
I guess
Oh.
Drew
I feel
Barrymore.
like-
and I guess Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
I feel like
Yeah.
Rob, to me, is the worst one.
Yeah, he
Because
seems to have the least.
knowingly, he's like, this girl is definitely 16. I'm definitely not a teenager, and I am allowing this to happen.
And
or like,
his only motive to even come into high school was to help his sister, but also to maybe win the big game.
yeah,
Like, that was his only reason to even get involved?
Well, even before that, he's like, he sees something, newspaper article
Oh,
or something.
yeah.
He's like, "Oh, girls didn't look like this when I was in high school." Like, there's
Yeah, there
there's
were,
a
like-
couple other
that.
moments of that. Some other
The van
maybe
guy
in the van
said that. Van guy said
Yeah,
that too.
van
That
guy
was a
said
that.
weird
Yeah.
theme for a while, and that was
Just-
right after. That was right after we first got a hint that Mr. Coulson was attracted to her. It's just like, oh no,
Yeah,
every person is inappropriate.
But you know, the other thing about Rob, I thought they did a very convincing job of, was that his best days were behind him.
Yes,
Right? Like
absolutely.
he missed out on next steps and was stuck. So I felt like his motivation for going back to high school in some ways was stronger than hers. But I did not care for his, like, not nipping that in the bud, this relationship with a 16-year-old.
yeah. He is the least amount of inner conflict about it. Some,
That's
but
true.
the least. I agree. The Boodle House has even more questions.
Please,
Great.
please.
When Josie gets egged, how would things have gone had Joe Prado been driving? Ooh, Prado would not have let this stand.
No, he
no,
would have
Prado
stopped
would
the
have
car.
swerved. He would have swerved to ruin the
Prado.
angle, right? Once he understood what was happening,
Yeah.
his first move would be to swerve so that the angle of the egg would get compromised.
I mean, he
Yep.
probably could have pulled such a move that Billy would have egged himself.
Yep.
oh, absolutely! Like done a sweet
Just
like
an elbow.
turn on a
his-
dime.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then rolled down the screen.
Not today.
Hey, it's me, Joe Prado. You should treat the women with more respect, like my wife, who I respect so much.
the women in your life are special gems that you can never lose, or your life will be meaningless and empty.
I don't think Joe Prado would have let them out of the sunroof. They'd be like, hey,
Oh yeah.
hey, this is Joe Prado. You put that
Seat belts.
sunroof down. Yeah.
Seat belts,
Safety
kids.
first.
Yeah.
We're proud of our
voice.
safety rating.
We're
We're
proud of our
safety rating.
safety. We haven't done this in a while.
Please give us 5 stars on Chicago Yelp. He also would have probably at that point, like once he understood what he was doing with the eggs, he'd been like, "Get out of my limousine. You're walking to prom."
Joe Prado doesn't stand no eggs in his mazine.
Joe Prado, captain
No
of
eggs in the zine.
transportation, not of pranks.
That's right. That's right. This isn't prankspitation. It's transportation. Joe Prado.
Joe Prado, I love my wife. All right, I think we
Okay.
got to go lightning round through some of
Okay.
these.
Yeah.
Okay, keep going.
Do we think Josie wrote anything else for the newspaper or just soliciting smooches? I don't think so, right? All
I
I
our
don't think so.
Copy
That was her
editor.
first story. That was her
Yeah.
first story. Yeah.
And really, it was a column, not a story.
But do you think that
Mhm.
after that she wrote stories?
I bet she writes columns. Because she
I
is
bet she
not
got-
an investigative reporter. We learned
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
But she's got
I-
sort of memoir personality that she can bring.
She
to
probably
it.
gets hired by like a magazine, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That does like monthly features, shit like that. You know what I mean?
She probably next goes to like a butcher shop
Mm-hmm.
and like falls
Yeah,
in love
she's-
with somebody there. And then maybe she goes to like a firefighter unit,
Mm-hmm.
you know? I'm just trying to think of different jobs.
Yep.
Okay. Thanks.
17
for the-
times.
70 times.
17 times I was broad in my definition, but there was
Oh,
many,
no. Yeah.
many versions of teacher no. There
Okay.
was also, just real quick, my favorite reaction of the entire movie is at one point, Dan, you said, "I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be rooting for to happen."
Yeah, I still don't know. I mean, I guess it's that her and the teacher get together. That's
Yeah.
what the end of the movie tells me. But like, why?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I interrupted your lightning round.
Yeah. General thoughts on prom themes and why they are all so stupid.
They are
Oh,
stupid.
Yeah.
the themes?
I don't remember if my prom had a theme.
I don't know.
It was at a hands-on science museum, which was cool.
Nice.
But that's
Mine was
not
at
the
a
theme.
boat.
That's the location. Oh.
Mine was at the Minneapolis Convention Center, baby.
Right.
It's at the
Yeah, I guess that-
Radisson Hotel.
Yeah, I guess they're probably
Nice.
stupid because they're decided by a committee of high schoolers.
So,
Yeah.
of course, they're stupid. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. How much coleslaw is too much coleslaw? Related. What is the fastest way to become cool to high schoolers?
It's
That was
definitely
insane.
to eat an entire thing of coleslaw.
Like,
Yeah.
the fact that was Rob's move and it works, it was wild. Like, he
Yeah.
went up to blonde kid. He's just like, "Yo, I bet I can eat more coleslaw food than you, dick." And then they had a coleslaw eating contest, apparently.
And he won. Yeah,
And they
coleslaw
loved
is
it.
a side. I
And the
think
hot girls were sexually attracted to him after that.
That was not a believable moment.
No.
No.
It's just covered in mayonnaise and cabbage.
It was gross. I appreciated we never got a close up. It was always like a mid shot or a long shot of that because I
Of
just
the
did not,
coleslaw food?
I did not
Yeah.
need to see coleslaw on his
No.
face.
Certainly
No.
not.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was a good amount though.
Yeah, I don't know how to
Yeah.
become cool to high schoolers. I guess,
I think just like throw a really great party
A
and
party.
have lots of drugs there.
be kind.
Probably. And also, like, get out of their way, though. Like, don't talk to them too much.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like with animals, like don't make eye contact.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, definitely. Because they will destroy you psychologically.
Yeah.
If you make eye contact with like a 15-year-old, they will destroy you from the soul out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we got
Are those all from the Boodle Horse? Our
those are all for the
executive
Boodle
producer?
Horse. Yeah, we
Wow.
have
Thank
other,
you, Boodle Horse.
Thank you, Boodle
I'm gonna
Horse.
apologies. I'm gonna skip some of these for time.
Oh,
Taylor
Wow.
History asks, just how many cool teen moments are there in this movie?
Oh man.
So many.
So many.
I'm
I
going to
think-
say 21.
Yeah.
I mean,
That seems
Billy
right.
should cool it every single scene he's in.
Yeah.
Guy should cool it every second that he exists on this plane of reality.
Yeah, he should go back to
Because
his home plane.
he is clearly like at some point going to burn through that human shell and just like elevate himself to the next
Yeah.
dimension. Rob and Josie should cool it teens in
Yeah.
air quotes for
Yeah.
sure.
I
Yeah.
think everybody needs to cool it.
At least
Yeah.
a little bit. Yeah.
Jessica
Except for
Alba and her
Aldous. I think
friends.
Aldous
Yeah.
is fine.
Aldous is the only person
Yeah.
who doesn't
Yeah,
need to cool it.
she's doing great.
She's already
Although she
cool.
could cool it on using ableist language like lame, but that was a whole 90s
That's
thing.
I mean that's literally every person in 1999.
I get
though.
it.
Yeah.
Listen, that's
Yeah.
real.
Yeah.
The reference machine asks, what was your first kiss like?
Mm.
I was 19 years old in college.
Attaboy.
I kissed my first girlfriend. I went, yes, I'm having my first kiss.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Nice.
Amazing.
I was like, I hope this is going well. I guess it did. We dated for half a year.
Great.
Nice.
Yeah.
I did get mono before I ever kissed anyone, and
Right.
I was almost recovered from it. But you have to like not kiss anybody for 3 months or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'd worked up the nerve to tell this guy, "Hey, listen, I can't kiss you because I've had mono."
Were
Or
you in a
I'm
position where
recovering.
like you should have smooched by now?
Well, it was like our second date, and so
Uh-huh.
yeah, but I didn't know how to bring it up before, so I just brought it up at the beginning of the date, so there'd be no awkwardness later. And I was like, so I can't kiss anybody for like another month.
That's a pretty good
And-
move, though. Puts kissing in the mind, but takes the pressure
Well-
away from the
But
right now.
hold
You would
on, let her
think-
finish the
listen,
story.
The story is
Oh,
not
okay.
done.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Oh, well, I've heard you can't get mono." He's like, "I've already had mono. You can't get it twice." I was like, "No, that's literally the opposite of what my doctor told me. Like, I cannot. I'm not taking any chances because I just don't. Like, I'm not doing this again. This has been miserable." And he had like this little smile on his face, and I was like, I wonder if he heard a word I said. And at the end of the date, I went to take off my seatbelt. You know, he had driven.
Mm-hmm.
And as I turned to take off my seatbelt, he was there fully ready for a kiss. Like eyes closed, mouth open, leaned over.
Yeah.
And I had this moment to make a choice
Yes.
of did I leave him hanging and risk
Right.
embarrassing us or risk getting mono?
Yeah.
And you'll never guess what I did. I kissed him.
All right.
Nice. Okay, real quick, get it, girl. Also, but also, I understand where your head was at for sure.
It was like it was very stressful. Fortunately, I didn't get mono again, so it all worked out.
Wait,
But yeah.
you were concerned of
I thought
you
you
getting
had the
mono?
mono.
I thought you were concerned of giving him mono.
Well, both, because then if we kissed again later, he could give it back to me.
Uh,
And my doctor had been so
you were playing the
specific
long
about it.
game. I see.
Yeah,
I see.
wow.
I
Okay.
just was
That's
like,
the
if we
plan.
can hold off for like a couple weeks, then I'll feel like
Yeah,
we can kiss.
Just cool it,
But
dude.
he didn't
Darren,
hear
Jesus.
that at all. And yeah, it was.
Did he get mono?
I don't think so.
Molly.
It's a bad story.
No, it's a great story.
It was a very awkward first kiss. And I had been one of those people who was obsessed with kisses and waiting for a kiss and wanting a kiss for so long. And so
I feel
for
like
it
a
to
first
be
kiss.
sort of
I was just gonna say, I feel like a first kiss has to be awkward, like by its very nature, right?
Yeah.
it can be awkward cute though.
That's true.
It doesn't have to be awkward. Oh no, my freedom for the next several months.
That's true. Like you could have your first kiss with an entire pod of fish hornily shivering at your feet under a pier.
That's true.
Oh, what is that? That's
Don't tell
what-
mama the baby.
Don't tell mom the babysitter's
Yeah.
dead. That's right. Got you.
Clacking teeth.
Mine was fraught with anxiety because it was a lot of like us sort of discussing how we felt about each other, but also sort of like realizing the impermanence of our situation. She was a year older than me in high school, which meant she was
Wow.
leaving high school. So it was a lot of like, yeah, I had a similar thing. I had a similar thing with Dan of like, yes, it's happening, but at the same time being like, oh, but now what? Like, what happens after this? You know what I mean? Yeah,
Aw,
it was nice though.
that's great.
I think, I didn't have anything to compare it to at the time, but
Yeah.
you know, whatever. It was nice to be liked.
Yes.
know?
Yep.
It's nice to be liked.
I was a very late bloomer, and which is why I related to this movie so much.
Hell yeah, dog.
So I actually had a very good first kiss because I was a full-grown adult.
Yes.
Yay.
Great.
So
You didn't have the layers of insanity that your hormones were putting in front of you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
yeah.
Hey, there's no wrong time to
No.
have your first kiss.
Certainly
And
not.
if you are listening to this
it's
and
your
you're
teacher.
feeling like embarrassed about not having been kissed before,
Oh man.
it's okay. Just wait until
Yeah,
the
who-
time that you feel like
it's
it's
fine.
and then you'll be like, "Yeah, this is great."
Yeah.
So,
Here's the thing.
So
You got
true.
a whole life to leave. You don't have to.
You've got your whole life to smooch.
yep.
Maybe you wish you could trade an awkward smooch for a nicer smooch, and you
Mhm.
can't. You could.
No.
It's only additive.
And that's okay.
That's okay.
But also, like, if you've got an infectious disease, like, maybe just consider that while you're in a
Maybe
scenario.
Just make it much plainer. Use much plainer talk.
Yeah.
I will not be kissing you.
Yeah,
Say that.
maybe visual aids. Maybe
I will say I am proud of myself because there are times in my life where I would say something like, "Hey, just so you know, I'm not up for anything like major here. I just want to make out a little bit," and it really like helps. It can just help set the scene. Listen, I didn't mean this to be so much like teen.
Hold on,
support.
real quick. Get it, girl.
People. Thank you.
Yeah, and also, hey, it's not your fault that he still wanted to kiss you. Like, it's don't blame yourself on the clarity of language.
Oh, yeah.
Dude's a dummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I probably should have just left him hanging.
Yeah, you put it on.
I mean, it's
Front
a
Street.
funnier story if you left him hanging, certainly.
Yeah.
But it was
be.
probably better
Yep.
for your social health at the time.
At the time. Yeah.
It's
I made the
tough.
best decision I could.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, you're still
That's all we
standing.
can all do.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He
and
passed
that
away
dude.
from mono, but
Oh no,
Who did what?
Darren.
your boyfriend.
All right. My last
Lightning
name's
round.
Meldrum.
Lightning round.
Yeah, lightning. As eternal 35-year-olds, do you feel like you could plausibly go undercover as a student?
No.
Fuck no.
Yeah, I could probably do it. Dye my hair,
People
shave
thought-
this
You're
beard.
like full beard.
People thought
I
I
would
was-
have to make some modifications.
Sure. People thought I was 18 when I was like 14 because I've been 6'4" since I was 12 or 13.
I had the opposite
Wow.
experience. I was still getting carded for R-rated movies till I was like 25.
Attaboy.
Yeah, I looked a little too young for a long time. I've got bigger cheeks. I think that contributed. So there was a time, but that time has long passed.
Beth, I bet if we put
past.
you in the right hat, you could pass for at least a day.
Yeah,
The right
You know what I
hat.
mean?
if
Yeah.
we put it
The
on
coolest hat
backwards.
that you can find.
Yeah,
Exactly.
All right. Lightning round. Fra asks, is a baseball field in front of hundreds of people the best place to get the first kiss?
No.
I guess for her. I mean, not
What
what,
if
I would
it's
want.
What if it's terrible?
I
What if it's a
honestly-
terrible kiss?
I didn't even think about that. What a nightmare that is.
Oh my god.
Like how
Oh my god.
nervous you all are already, and then in front of all those people.
What if he pops a tent?
Yeah.
Definitely did, right?
Right?
Yeah. Pitcher's tent. Is that something? Pitch a tent. Pitch tent. What if he pitches a tent?
What if his
Edit it to make it sound good.
what if he's pitched a mound? His mound is pitching.
Well,
Right? Am I right?
Bounce something else.
Oh no!
Come on.
Okay. Look it up. Lightning
Pubis
round.
mons. Lightning
Andrew,
round.
as had this been 2 years ago, would have said, how ridiculous is it that she tells them to put seconds on the timer on a baseball field?
Oh,
Oh.
Except
Oh,
now
yeah.
there are pitch timers on baseball fields.
yeah.
Okay, all the baseball heads out there, maybe that question hits home for you.
Yeah.
Nice.
Right over the plate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nice job.
Boners.
That is a funny. That is a deep cut observation about
Yeah.
how timing works.
Totally.
I love that.
About how timing works.
Well, at baseballs. At the baseballs.
At the baseballs.
At the
And the baseballs. The
Timer
baseball's
baseball.
timing.
Yeah.
Listen, I have listened to whole podcasts about the pitch clock, so
Wow.
I
Brag.
get it, sort of.
Lightning round. N. Linz asks, I'm pretty sure one of my haircuts as a late 90s teen was inspired by end of movie Josie. Did you
Oh.
ever get a haircut inspired by a movie character?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Yes.
Go, Molly.
I had long hair, and I was obsessed with the movie and TV show Fame. And
Okay.
in it, Lori, oh my gosh, I can't think of her name. She's also in Footloose. Had like long curly hair, and so I got a perm to make my hair curly. But I went to like a grandma kind of place, and so they did
Yes.
and they doubled up on it. So I had tight.
Yes.
Very tight, small curls, not like big, like
Right.
bouncy 80s curls. But 2 years later, it had grown out and relaxed enough that it actually looked good.
Nice.
So,
Just had to be patient.
but up until then, I literally
Just
looked like a
2
poodle.
years.
Yeah. That's a good life lesson. Yeah.
Yeah.
Time. All right. That's That's it. Sorry if we skipped yours. We had to lightning round.
The storm has passed over.
Yeah.
Well, we can answer those questions on Discord.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Our rating scale, as we all remember, is Real Kissin' with Drew Barrymore, a competition show in which real people are put into famous kissing movie scenes, and they have to make it look like they are really kissing, but not actually really kiss.
Exactly.
Right.
If
And they like wear costumes.
they
right?
wear
There's, like, a
costumes,
set
the lighting,
piece.
it's a full production. If
Yeah.
they do kiss, Drew Barry comes out and says, I drew the line of this, and her assistant
it's so
Barry Less and Barrymore come out and aggressively separate the two contestants
Hold
that
on.
have kissed.
Hold on, you forgot that when she says I drew the line, the audience goes wild and they shoot confetti into the air. Which, by the way, we're implying that this happens multiple times an episode. So their confetti budget must be bonkers.
Yeah.
Wow. Poor custodians. Good Lord.
Yeah. That's all right. I'm sure they're getting paid union wages.
Hell yeah. Good for them.
All right. I think I got all the details.
Yeah.
Dan, you
Yes.
gave it a 4. People like it, but you never cared about it. You
Right.
thought it might be okay, but not great.
Yeah. This movie is like a wild peak 90s rom-com, right? I mean, there is nothing not aggressively 90s about this movie.
Yeah. We didn't talk about
And-
soundtrack, or did we? It slaps.
It slaps. That's all that matters.
Sorry.
Just
Beth.
know that it slaps. Look it up. But yeah, I mean, I had a great time watching it in this context, at the very least, of us just like constantly screaming in horror at the potential sex crimes that we were headed towards in this romantic comedy. Yeah, I don't know. I'll stick with 4. I had a great time.
Wow.
Like, as problematic as it might be, it was like fun to watch, right? I don't know. I still don't know how to feel with this movie. 4 keeping
Yeah.
4 real 4 real kissings with Drew Barrymore.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say she drew the line on 2 of the 4,
Oh, okay.
but a couple pairs made it to the championship
Me too. Yeah.
or made it to the next round. I don't know how the show works.
Yeah, I suppose so. It's probably that's a
There's got to be a
bracket situation.
yeah.
Championship
Otherwise, you
the
couldn't.
season finale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you got to build a narrative. That's how reality TV works.
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. Beth, you give it a 3. You were scared. You used to like it a lot, but can't hold up.
Yeah, I think when I was younger, I did like it in a different way than the way that I liked watching it this time. So when I was younger, I actually did think it was romantic. But as an adult, I had more fun just watching it and yelling "no, teacher" at so many points in time. Yeah, but it's also not like a great movie, so I'm gonna stick at 3.
Nice.
3 real kissing with Drew Barrymore's.
Great. I also gave it a 3. All I wrote was scared and coward.
You did that last time.
Did I?
I think you did.
I did not like this movie.
Excellent.
I didn't like. I thought everybody did a good job. I will say that Drew Barrymore was charming. Molly Shannon was funny. People were teens and they were mean. Everybody like executed what they were going for, I think, but I did not like what they were going for. All the problematic relationships, I was, confused and frustrated by a lot of the movie. It was too long and the premise was too heavy for a 90s rom-com. I did like hearing Hole. I always like hearing Hole on the soundtrack.
Nice.
Every time I
Great
hear Hole, I'm like,
soundtrack.
God damn,
Great
that album's
soundtrack.
so good.
Which album?
Is it Celebrity Skin? Or is that a
Sure.
song? Anyway, go listen to Hole.
All right.
I'm gonna go down to a 2.
Oh,
I'm gonna go down to a 2. It wasn't for me.
No. No. Sounds
Never been enjoyed by Dan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
Molly, you waffled around and then eventually landed on a 5.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
thought you would enjoy, and then maybe DB part on Airplane. Does that ring a bell?
Oh, yeah. I probably watched a little part of it.
Okay. Or D13. Well,
we don't know. I wasn't sure if I had seen it or not.
Had you?
I definitely had not.
Ooh.
And I don't even know that I saw a scene that I recognized at all.
So you definitely saw it on I Love the 90s or something.
Yes. Yeah, something like that. And maybe it wasn't even this particular movie. I have to say, the 14-year-old inside of me loved this movie, thought it was super fun, was not terribly disturbed about the teacher bit from a like romantic comedy movie perspective.
Sure.
Not that I would have welcomed that scenario at my own school, my own situation, right? I don't know. I think like as a fantasy and as a rom-com, I actually really enjoyed the complexity. I love that the characters were pretty full and interesting, like at her workplace. And I liked all the flashbacks to work and all of them cheering her on and just her going from being like such a hollow version of herself and into like really stepping into her own in a way that felt like it was earned. So all that to say, I'm already giving it the Boodle Horse bump to bring it to 4. I'm going to land because I appreciate the Boodle Horse's executive sponsorship of this movie.
am genuinely thrilled the Boodle Horse made us watch this movie.
Oh,
No.
so good.
I'm
Except for
glad we
Dan
watched
Yeah.
it.
Jaquette.
Hey.
But now he knows.
As a podcast movie, I'm glad we watched this.
Oh, good. Great. Yeah, I had the best time. I loved it. So a 5 from personal experience. And I
Yeah,
would say,
agreed.
just so I don't look back and get very confused, I'm going to give it a 4 in
Nice.
terms of the number of real kiss-ins with Drew Barrymore's. And in my version, 3. Drew Barrymore drew the line on 3 of those. So,
Wow.
yeah.
That's like a half season. That's a
Yeah,
pretty good,
it's pretty
production
Yeah.
schedule for a new show.
You know, I only feel sad. We
Like
make
13,
up these
I think
things,
13 episodes.
And they become so real to me that I wish I could go watch an episode.
I mean, I definitely wish I could buy some of the insane snacks we've invented.
Yeah.
For sure. What
Yeah.
a joy. What a joy that the Boodle Horse has brought to our lives.
Yes.
The
Thank
fact
you.
that we
Truly.
were able, who knew that when the Boodle Horse first chose to executive produce an episode of this podcast, that it would take us like 3 hours to break down every element of this teen
really
rom-com.
did.
That was a 1 hour and 47-minute movie.
Listen, there was a lot to unpack.
Yeah.
The Boodle Horse understood that they need to give us a feast, right? If you're going to get your money's worth,
We
you
feasted.
got to give us a movie that we are going to get so in the weeds on
Yeah.
that it will be an incredibly dense podcast
It
episode.
has to confuse Dan Jaquette to the
Yeah. Yes.
maximum
Yeah.
limit.
It has to confuse Dan Jaquette. It has to terrify Beth. It has to flabbergast me. And it has to make Molly think real hard about a moment in her life. So any future executive producers listening, that's the code. The Boodle Horse has cracked the
criteria.
code.
Yeah.
The Boodle Horse has cracked the code on how to make the perfect extra sode.
That's the magic of the Boodle Horse.
Yeah. God bless the Boodle Horse.
Totes Recall is hosted by Molly Chase, Beth Gibbs, Dan Jaquette, and Dan Linden. Produced by Beth Gibbs. New episodes of Totes Recall drop on the 15th of every month. For more information and bonus content, visit us at totesrecall.com. Thank you so much for listening.